Relationship was finally over.
Things went bad.
Has Mr. Nieves ever hit you?
Yes, he has.
She's lying, Your Honor.
But he wasn't over it.
I look out the window, and it's him pulling up, and I tell him, what do you want? Get out of here. He rammed his truck into my vehicle.
That never happened.
Nope.
Judge Judy. This is Judge Judy.
Daniela Hernandez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Luis Nieves, for ramming her vehicle in a fit of rage. She is also suing for the cost to rent a car.
Judge, this is case number 19 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Nieves. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Ms. Hernandez, you and the defendant have 2 children together. How old are they?
16 and 14.
Both boys?
No, growing boy.
The boy is 14?
Yes.
How long did you and Mr. Nieves live together?
About a year.
In what year?
2004.
And then you were separated?
Yeah, off and on.
When did you get back together again?
Last year?
In 2019?
Yes.
Well, in between there, I know that you had to have gotten together
yeah.
a little bit before.
In 2006.
For how long?
About a year.
And then he left again, or you left?
I left.
Why?
It wasn't working out.
Tell me, wasn't working out in 2004. I'm asking these questions. Had Mr. Nieves displayed a temper to you, either in when you lived together in 2004 or 2006?
Yes.
Okay. And you've actually then lived apart for about 13 years?
Yes.
Do you have another partner or mate?
Yes, I do.
And what is his name?
Dominic.
How long have you been living with Dominic?
Since my mother passed away.
When was that? What year?
This year?
In 2019?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Nieves.
Yes, Your Honor.
There were several occasions in which you lost your temper, according to the plaintiff. And you didn't lose your temper and hit her, but you lost your temper and damaged her car with your car or with a car that you were driving. And she would like to be compensated for that. The first one was a year ago, 2019. Do you want to tell me what happened in 2019, Mr. Nieves?
Yes, in 2019, there was one day where I left her at the beach with the kids because we started arguing for something stupid. So I left and I told her to find her own ride home because we were on my vehicle. So I got home, and then like a couple minutes later, she arrived home, and she arrived home with all the kids, and in front of all the kids, started attacking me and hitting the house, and there was nobody home. My mom wasn't there or anybody. Then she called her brother over, and then she called, I don't know who she called, but she called a couple people, so I called the cops on her, right? Well, she left then.
So she left?
And then came back, like the following day.
Okay, and nothing happened with the car?
Nothing happened that day.
So when did it happen?
Okay, so there was this
damaged her car?
It was like a couple of weeks after that. We just started arguing for, I have no clue for what, to be honest. Well,
okay, so she came home?
Yeah, she came back.
So she came home?
We made everything peaceful after that. So we started off fresh again.
Okay.
So that deal was over with, right? But it still brought me flashbacks from like when I was a kid, because she used to do the same thing when I was a kid. When we were kids, she used to attack me all the time as well. And in front of my mom, in front of my, whoever was there would see it. Whether it was in the middle of the street or not, she's broken my windows.
Let's move on to the car.
Okay. So that day, she jumped on me and she scratched my face. And I ran out the door into my truck, and I reversed and tried to do a U-turn in my driveway, and I hit her car with the back of my truck.
Okay. And that was taken care of?
Yes, it was.
By insurance, is that right?
Yes.
By my insurance.
Yes. Now, Miss Hernandez, did you scratch him in the face?
Yes, I did.
Why?
He tried to put his hands on me, so to defend myself, I can't remember for what, but he tried to hit me.
Miss Hernandez, has Mr. Nieves ever hit you?
Yes, he has.
She's lying, Your Honor.
In what year?
Through 2004 all the way up.
Well, you say 2004 all the way up. So he tried to hit you. Did he ever hit you in 2004? That's either a yes or a no. Did he ever hit you in 2004?
Yes.
She doesn't even know what she's answering, Your Honor.
Tell me how much.
Shh.
What I want you to do is make sure you give me the truthful answer to a question, because there's going to be a follow-up question, Ms. Hernandez. Do you understand?
Yes.
Could you estimate how many times Mr. Nieves hit you between 2004 and 2019? Hit you. Not tried to hit you, but hit you.
I'm going to say about 10.
Did you ever report any of those assaults to authorities?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember in what year?
I remember a couple.
Tell me. If it was just a couple, then those couple of times it must have been serious.
I remember it was 2005. I remember after that it was 2019.
Your Honor, there isn't any times. That's why she doesn't have a date, all right?
No, just a second. Now, those are the 2 times you remember and the 2 times you reported it to the police.
Yes.
In 2019, tell me the circumstances surrounding you reporting an assault to the police.
I have the report here. There was a time where he thought I was cheating on him, so I went to his job and he took my phone from me, grabbed the hammer, started banging on it, cracked it in half, and just like nothing, just threw it away.
Can I see that police report?
No, that one I don't have, but I have one where he beat me up in his garage. He threw me to the floor and told me whether I like it or not, this is where
In
I'm
what
gonna.
year?
2019.
Okay, so first he hit you in the garage. Was that the same day on the 20th?
Yes, it was.
So after he assaulted you in the garage, he left?
I left, yes.
You left. So you had gone to his house?
Yes.
Well, what did you go to his house for?
Because we were going to talk about just being good terms and just, I don't know what got into him and just things went bad.
What time did you show up at his house?
Probably around 11.
So you went to his house at 11 p.m. Did you tell him that you were coming?
He knew. He called me and told me to come over.
Don't tell me what he knew. Don't tell me what he knew.
He called me to come over.
Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, but there's a possibility, yes.
Yes. So you asked her to come over?
Yes, because I wanted to be with her. I was trying to do everything the right way ever since I got back with her.
11 o'clock at night is not breakfast time.
Well, I don't know if it was 11 o'clock, to be honest
Okay.
with you. It could have been 1 in the
All
morning.
right. So you invited her to come over at 11 o'clock at night. She came over. You had an argument with the car.
The incident happened on the 20th. My car happened days after.
I want to know what happened with your car. Now we're back to your car.
But you want to know what...
The first instance...
Oh, the first incident when he first crashed my car?
You indicate that there are 3 things that you are suing him for. In case you forgot, I'm going to tell you. You first alleged that he damaged your car in 2019. You got a rental car. When he damaged your car, that was paid for by insurance.
Yes.
When you got a rental car, he damaged the rental car, and now they're coming after you, you say, for $1,000. Tell me about your rental car. Come on. Questions get harder.
It happened down the street from his house.
On what date?
I don't remember exactly, but it was a few days before I had to turn in the vehicle. He hit me with the rental truck that he was using when my vehicle was in the shop.
Okay. You want to tell me, sir, about this rental car?
I don't know what she's talking about.
That never happened.
Nope. The 2 times that we did have an accident, my insurance covered for it, and I admitted to my insurance, and they did their investigation, and they were able to confirm
Which 2 times, sir?
In December 6th and in June.
Then she rented a rental car, and you say that you didn't damage the rental car.
Nope, I did not rent any car. She was out there with her friends doing I don't know what.
Okay. Is on February 9th, 2020. Do you want to tell me your version of what happened on February 9th, 2020?
Yes, I was at work all day. Like every day I was at work, and that's it. I didn't even know anything till a week and a half after that. My insurance contacted me, and when I spoke to my insurance, they were telling me that there was being a claim being filed for that certain date. So I told the insurance where I was at, and then they did their own investigation, and they confirmed where I was at, and they said they weren't going to pay for the claim because I was at no fault.
So what 2 times did your insurance pay?
One happened in June and one happened in December. After December, we haven't been together.
Okay. What happened in June? You didn't tell me what happened in June.
Yeah.
She's not claiming June.
June is when she scratched me. And in December, I was at work. She had gone to my job, and then she was going to the welfare office, supposedly right after that. Well, she didn't know I was driving home when I bumped into her in a street, in one of the back streets, and she was with a guy in her vehicle. So I started following her, and then she was going real fast, and I was following her behind her because I wanted her to stop because I had finally caught her cheating. So she hit the brakes out of nowhere, and I smashed into the back of her car. And I tried to dodge it out, but I couldn't. So my insurance paid for that.
And that was...
The first one was in June when she scratched my face.
Okay. Now, why don't you tell me your version of what happened on February 9th?
I was outside my house, my front yard, with my son and my boyfriend cleaning the front yard. I walk in, and I hear the sound of his truck. So I look out the window, and it's him.
Hold on one second, but just 1 second. Just 1 second. Is that your son here?
Yes.
I'd like him to step out while you're testifying. And is that your boyfriend?
Yes.
I'd like him to step out while you're testifying. Okay, you're outside with your boyfriend and your son in the yard cleaning up, and?
I walk in my house to get something to drink for all three of us. My mother's inside dying. I hear his truck, so I look out the window, and it's him pulling up, and I tell him, what do you want? Get out of here. And he said, I told you.
Just a second. You're inside.
Yes.
You heard his truck from inside. In what room were you inside?
I was in the living room.
Okay. And you heard something, and is there a window in the living room that you saw his truck? Did you open the door?
I opened the curtain.
You opened the curtain, and you saw his truck?
Yes.
What?
The curtain, I said, what do you want? Get out of here.
And where is the boyfriend?
He's...
When you're saying this?
He's outside with my son.
Just a second. So your boyfriend and your son are in between you, because you're inside the house, and the defendant who's in the street.
Yes.
They're in between you.
Yes.
Okay, and you yelled, what are you doing here? And he said...
I told you I was going to... And I said, get out of here. And I don't know why, what got into him. And he said, I'm not going to leave you alone, and I'm going to... up like I said I was. And that's when he rammed his truck into my vehicle. And when I was running out, he took off.
And you have a police report about that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
That's all they gave me.
That doesn't say anything about a car.
Yes, I know.
That you're a victim of domestic violence and sex assault.
Yes, that's all the officer gave me, and he said that if they catch him...
Don't tell me what the officer said to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They were kind of arguing.
Tell me what you heard. You were right there.
She was telling him to, like, pretty much leave, and he was, like, cussing and saying, oh, and he hit the truck.
Daniela Hernandez says ex-boyfriend Luis Nieves purposely rammed her vehicle.
Now, would you bring just the boyfriend in, please? Mr. Martinez, do you recall the events of February 9th of this year?
Yes.
Do you remember at about what time you and Miss Hernandez's son, take your hands out of your pockets, do you remember what time you and Miss Hernandez's son were outside doing yard work?
It was about 10 in the morning.
I'd like you to tell me exactly what you recall happened, sir.
Okay, we were cleaning...
You're outside with Miss Hernandez and her 14-year-old son.
Correct.
Okay, go.
Okay, we were picking up all the grass and putting it in the bags, and as we're walking up into the house, she heard the truck.
Who's we?
I mean, Aaron, her son.
And where was Miss Hernandez?
At that time, she was, like, between the front door and the middle of the yard of the house.
Okay, so she was between the front door and the lawn?
Yeah, pretty much in front of the door.
The door of the house?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, because then she told us to come inside. We're going inside because I guess she heard his truck. And that's when we were about to go inside, and that's when he pulled up. And then they were talking about something, and then her son was still in the yard. And then I was actually about to walk in the house, like almost like a foot in the door. And that's when he reversed back and hit the car. And then I went inside, and then Aaron was still in the driveway, like about 5 feet from her car, where it got hit. And then he sped off.
So she was outside talking to him?
They were kind of arguing.
Tell me what you heard. You were right there.
Yeah.
So tell me what you heard.
She was telling him to, like, pretty much leave, and he was, like, cussing and saying, oh, you're disrespecting me, and then he hit the truck.
Okay. Why don't you have a seat? Bird, would you bring in the young man, please? What is his first name?
Aaron.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He reversed into her car and took off.
Did you ask him, when you saw him again, why he hit your mom's car?
I asked him one time through text, and he said that we're going to have to talk about that in person.
How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daniela Hernandez claims rammed her vehicle.
Now, Bird, would you bring in the young man, please? What is his first name?
Aaron.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Aaron, do you remember February 9th, the incident that happened when you were outside raking the grass and cutting
Yes,
the
I
grass with Dominic?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you remember about what time that happened?
It was like early in the morning, around 12.
You have to speak up.
It was around 12.
Around
12.
12
like,
o'clock.
Yeah.
And who was outside?
My mom, me, and Dominic.
Tell me what happened.
My dad pulled up. He went up the street, and then he came back down. And I was outside with my mom, and when he was going down, he hit the brakes, and he yelled at my mom, I told you I'm gonna... Can I say the words? Is it... Or...
Whatever. He said bad things. No, you don't have to.
Okay.
He said bad things to your mom.
Yeah, he said that, and then he reversed into her car and took off.
Okay. And did it damage her car? Did you see damage to the car?
Yes, on her right door.
Okay. Aaron, have you seen your dad since that day?
Yes, I have.
Did you ask him when you saw him again why he hit your mom's car?
I asked about that in person, and ever since I just forgot about it.
So you didn't speak to him again about it?
No.
Okay. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Have a seat. How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
I have no clue, to be honest.
Okay. Now, Ms. Hernandez, this is a 2017 Kia Optima that you had, is that right?
Yes.
When did you buy it?
July 2nd, 2017.
So you bought it new?
Yes.
It's financed, correct?
Yes, I'm leasing it. I'm going to purchase it, actually. I'm buying the car.
You're going to buy it out?
Yes.
Were you leasing it in February?
Yes.
Okay. If you have a leased car, you are required to maintain collision insurance.
Yes.
And you maintained collision insurance. Did you have the car fixed?
In February?
In February or March or April
I
or
didn't
May
I didn't
or
get
June.
it fixed.
Why not?
Because I don't have the money, and I don't think I should pay for it.
What I'm saying to you, Ms. Hernandez, you are required under the insurance, including collision, not just liability, but collision. Are you telling me that you didn't pay the insurance as you were supposed to?
And I did. I had full coverage and everything.
So fix the car.
But why should I pay for it if I didn't?
You're not paying for it. Your insurance is paying for it. Fix the car. Your insurance company is paying for it. Now, if you show me that you have a policy that requires a $500 deductible, I would absolutely charge Mr. Nieves that $500 if you fix the car. But I have no idea why you didn't, since February, have your car fixed, since you had full coverage. It's not coming out of your pocket. You are required to have insurance. Goodbye. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You sold that business to the defendants. For how much?
$800,000.
What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
Next Judge Judy.
I don't know. I wanted to be in good terms with him, but
She's done so much to me in the past, and everybody knows it.
he snaps out of it and just decides to. I mean, it's
Didn't bring no witnesses or anything. I didn't need them.
like he made it a hobby to be crashing my car for no reason.
She's just out to get me because I have a lot of money, she says.
He's got money to buy cars out of for no reason. Then
I just work hard. That's all I do.
maybe he should give me money to pay my car, or just fix my car at least.
I don't want nothing with her.
I don't ever want to see him around my house.
I've been staying away from her. I have a new relationship, and I'm happy.
He wants to see his kids. He could pick them up somewhere else, but I don't want to see him by my house at all.
They ought to make you have this dog muzzled at all times.
A neighborhood menace unleashed.
Mr. Nebrita's dog bit my dog. Mr. Nebrita was not present.
A second attack repeated the terror.
Gary came to the front of my garage. Athena noticed that he was coming in, and they actually scuffled again.
This man let his poodle come into your garage. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't you have family?
This is Judge Judy.
Gary Wong is suing his neighbor, Ronald Nebrita, for vet bills, broken glasses, and emotional distress due to a dog attack.
Judge, this is case number 76 on the calendar in the matter of Wong versus Nebrita. Parties have been sworn in. Sir?
Have a little dog, a poodle. Is it a standard poodle? Is it a miniature poodle? Is it a toy poodle?
He's a 10-pound miniature poodle.
How long have you had him?
Had him for over 3-4 years.
It is your claim that on 2 separate occasions, one in March of this year and once again in September of this year, that the defendant's dog, while unleashed, bit your dog. You have some substantial vet bills that you want him to be responsible for. Would you tell me about the first incident that happened in March of 2020?
Yes. So the incident happened at 10 a.m. Pretty much I went downstairs to walk my dog with a leash. And as I walked
No, just a second. Stop. Did you say off the leash or on the leash?
On leash. So he was on leash.
On leash.
Next to me. So I walk 4 houses away from my house, and then I noticed that Mr. Nebrita's dog came over and pretty much circled around my dog and pretty much made my dog anxious. And then before I knew it, Mr. Nebrita's dog bit my dog. And then at that time, Mr. Nebrita was not present.
But had you ever seen Mr. Nebrita's dog before?
I have seen Mr. Nebrita's dog before.
So there was no question that the dog was his dog and came from his house. How far does he live from you?
He lives across the street and 1 house to the left.
Rita?
For over 2 years.
Where were you on March the 30th, 2020?
I was actually
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I was actually upstairs in my apartment.
And who was responsible for your dog?
My neighbor Paul was actually, I asked him to watch Athena as I went upstairs.
Okay, so you were outside with your dog whose name is Athena. What kind of a dog is Athena?
Athena is a German Shepherd and a Siberian Husky mix.
So you had been out with the dog?
No, we usually hang out in the garage. She sleeps in the garage, and, you know, we go up and down into the apartment. And Paul, my neighbor...
Okay, you and Athena were in the garage.
Right, at the time.
And at the time, Athena was off-leash with you in the garage. You were putting around.
Yes.
Your neighbor came in and you went upstairs.
Correct.
And you left your neighbor in charge of the unleashed dog.
In the garage, yes.
In the garage.
Correct.
Well, I assume the garage was closed.
It was open.
It was open, so that the dog could just walk out of the garage.
She could have, yes, and yes, because it was open.
Well, that's what she did.
Yes.
That's what she did. She walked out, and she was off leash.
Correct.
So there's no question that you're responsible for any vet bills that the plaintiff has for the March 30th incident. You understand that?
Okay, but...
Find out that your dog had bitten his dog.
Well, he came to my house, me not knowing that he actually went to the vet for his dog, and I told him that, you know, I would be, as neighborly, I would help him out with some of the bill, if I had extra cash or whatever.
Not neighborly. Did your neighbor with whom you left Athena tell you that your dog had been involved in an incident? The neighbor is here.
Yes.
Let him stand up. I want to see him. Would you move over, please? You're his neighbor. What is your name?
Paul Porley.
You were watching Athena. Is that what he told me? Is that true?
Yes, I was.
Now, Athena left the garage and went across the street.
That didn't happen.
No, look at me. Look, just a second.
At you.
Look at my eyes.
Yes.
Athena left the garage and went across the street. Did you follow her?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And then they approached each other. The 2 dogs approached each other, and then that's when I seen Gary's dog bit Athena. So she reacted and bit it back. And then...
That couldn't have happened if Athena wasn't out without a leash. Sit. What were the vet bills for March 30th?
The March 30th bills was $1,487. So after I approached Mr. Nebrita to try to work out the situation, he was telling me the situation is like, with COVID, everything, it was very difficult for him. So we tried to work out a plan.
Did he give you any money, is my question.
No.
The answer is no, he did not.
No.
Now, I'd like you to tell me what happened on September 16th.
So what happened on September 16th, it was 7 p.m., and I came down from my apartment, and I was going to take out the garbage and then walk my dog right after. And I look across the street, and I see Mr. Nebrita walking over to another neighbor's house located. And so I assumed that he was going to talk to some friends. Then I look over to where his place is, and then I noticed that his dog, Athena, was right across the street staring at my dog.
Just stop. Was she across the street alone?
Yes, across the street alone and unleashed.
He wasn't there?
No.
I mean, he was walking over to another neighbor's house?
Correct.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
That Athena was across the street. Now, was your dog on a leash?
He was on leash.
Yes?
Yes.
Then tell me what happened.
So I went down to pick up my dog, and then before I knew it, Athena ran over and pretty much bit my dog. So then I'm trying to grab Athena to try to get him off. And all I just hear is my dog just sort of screaming, trying to shout, "Get off my dog, get off my dog." Soon after, I hear Mr. Nebrada saying, "Athena, get off." And then after a couple bites, then he finally let go of my dog.
Your version.
I was in the garage
Nebrida,
with Athena.
Your version.
I was in the garage with Athena. Gary came to front of my garage. Athena noticed that he was coming in, and they actually scuffled again. And it wasn't even that long of a time for her to really actually bite and attack her, but no.
Are you telling, listen to me.
Yes.
Nebrida.
Yes.
Are you telling me that after the March incident, this man let his poodle come into your garage? Is that what you're telling? That's what you want this face to believe?
It happened in front of my garage.
This is what you
Yes.
want? This is what you want this face to believe, that after this young man witnessed his dog being bit in March, he came over, crossed the street from his house to your house to the open garage.
Yes.
He did that.
In front of my garage.
You're an idiot. You want me to believe that after he witnessed his dog being bloodied in March, that had to be stitched up in March, he took his 10-pound dog across the street, sitting in the garage, sitting in the garage. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't you have family who watch television? Don't humiliate yourself. How much were the bills in September?
The bill in September was $4,500.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. They ought to make you have this dog muzzled at all times. And you better check your homeowner's insurance. If you have a job, the next time it happens, they're going to garnish your salary or take away your car or whatever else they have. Goodbye. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
With Athena being a larger dog and Gary's dog being smaller, his wounds were a lot worse.
It's definitely a relief to actually get some sort of conclusion.
Well, I was in the garage when Gary did come in front of the garage.
Well, especially with the first incidents, I avoid his house as much as possible.
All parties in the matter of Estrada versus Barreco, step forward, please.
Angela Estrada says her former tenant, Madison Barreco, moved out owing for rent, bills, and damages to her home.
Miss Estrada, the defendant was a tenant of yours.
Yes.
From when to when?
She originally rented the house in June of 2018. She moved in with her boyfriend.
I didn't ask you who she moved in with.
I'm sorry.
I just said, when did her tenancy start?
Her tenancy started
June of
2018.
Did she have a
one-year lease that went to a month-to-month tenancy thereafter?
So she was a tenant of yours from June of 2018 to May 31st, 2019, when she became a month-to-month tenant.
Yes.
Thereafter, she was your tenant until June of this year?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
From June 2018 to June 2019, did the defendant pay you rent?
Yes, ma'am.
And from June of 2019 until May of 2020, did the defendant pay you rent?
Yes, ma'am. Not always on time towards the end.
Well, you were aware as a landlord that there was a moratorium on eviction for tenants.
Yes, ma'am. I never tried to evict her.
That's not my question. Why don't you let me finish my question?
Okay.
There was a moratorium on eviction for non-payment of rent because of the pandemic starting in March. You were aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
And despite the fact that you were aware that you were forbidden to evict the defendant, she paid you rent in March, in April, in May.
She paid April's rent in mid-May, and she paid May's rent at the end of May.
What difference does it make? You got paid for 3 months' rent, despite the fact that you had no recourse if she stopped paying you rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? So she was one of the good guys who continued to pay rent even though their landlord would have no recourse if they stopped.
I didn't have an issue with her paying the rent.
So that's just, well, that's not 100% true, because you have in your complaint late fees.
Yes, ma'am. That was in our contract.
You understand what I'm saying? So I am eliminating that. And the only part of your complaint that I'm going to hear is, because the rest of it is nonsense, Mr. Strader. You should say thank you very much for being an honest person and paying your rent, even though I couldn't have done anything to you if you didn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Without my permission, Ms. Barreco painted the bedrooms. She left painter's tape. It peeled all of the paint off.
You hadn't painted the house in 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Time to paint.
Angela Estrada is for property damage, utilities, lock changing fees, and for prorated rent she never paid.
Now, she gave you a security deposit, and the security deposit was how much?
$1,000.
Did you return the security deposit to her?
No, ma'am.
So you kept the security deposit, for which I assume you were alleging damage.
Yes, ma'am. Lots of damage.
So far, $1,000 of that you've kept for some of the damage. Now I would like to see what you are alleging she caused in damage to the premises that is $4,000 worth.
Absolutely. We had an appointment for her to come through a walkthrough. Actually, we made several appointments.
That is not a question that I asked you. What I asked you was, I'd like to see photographs of the damage that you are alleging she caused to the premises. Photographs.
Okay. This first photograph is of the security door as you get to the house. And when I got to the house, the security door couldn't close any longer because it had been pried open at some point, and it would no longer shut, lock, or close.
Okay. Stop right there. Leave that there. Miss Barreco, how did that happen to the door?
The door, it wasn't that bad when we moved in 2018. I'll admit that. We had to pry that open because of how old that screen was.
Okay. Now, what I'd like to see is a bill to repair that door, the security door. Okay. Security door replaced, new security door installed, replaced broken jambs, new door installed. Okay, $360. What's next?
When I got to the house, this is the air filter in the hallway, and it had never been changed, and it was actually sucked up into the vent. I know it hadn't been changed because I dated them.
You should have changed it. You're the landlord. Next.
This is one of the rooms. The carpeting could not be cleaned. It was filthy, so I had the carpeting removed.
And you want her to pay for new carpeting?
Yes, ma'am. The carpeting was brand new when she moved in.
The carpet was not brand new. She had tenants living there before me.
I had it professionally cleaned before she moved in.
But it wasn't brand new.
It was not brand new.
That's a different, just a second.
I apologize.
That's a different story.
It was
That's a different story.
Like
What's
new
next?
conditioner.
What's next?
In one
What's
of the bedrooms,
next? $360.
Without my permission, Miss Barreco painted the bedrooms and then tried to repaint over where she had painted them. She left painter's tape attached to the walls, and you can see it's not covering the actual paint, peeled all of the paint off.
Miss Estrada, how many rental properties do you have?
Just the one, Your Honor. This was my grandfather's house. He left it to me.
In what year?
It would have been almost 11 years ago. It'll be 11 years ago in a month from when he passed away.
And have you constantly rented that house?
Well, I spent a year renovating it. I took out a very large loan and renovated the whole house.
Just a second. Has the house been consistently rented since then?
Most of the time, yes. There might have been a month or two gap, but for the most part, it's been rented the whole time.
Have you done any renovations or refurbishing since you totally renovated the home 11 years ago?
I replaced the carpet 5 years ago, 2 years before Miss Barreco was in it. So when I say I replaced it, it would have been
5 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Did a new tenant move into the house?
Since Miss Barreco left?
The defendant left.
6 weeks
Yes.
after, yes. She started renting in August. I spent 6 weeks fixing everything.
So she moved in August 1st.
The new tenant moved in August 1st, yes.
And you were paid your rent from the defendant through most of June.
Yes, ma'am.
So the only month that you didn't have
was July.
Was July. And you hadn't painted the house in 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you know anything about a broken window?
The window that she's talking about that's cracked or missing or whatever was from the gardeners. So I was not going to pay for the window that they broke.
Do you know how the gardeners broke that window?
Maybe a rock hit it. I don't know.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Angela Estrada is suing her former tenant, Madison Barreco, for property damage, utilities, lock changing fees, and for prorated rent she never paid.
Now, clearly, you were able to put the house in sufficient conditions so that in August, with only 1 month downtime, you have a new tenant. Show me the other pictures of the other damage that you're alleging. So far, you have $1,000 in security deposit that you retained.
Flush, and the toilet seat was broken, so I had to call a plumber out.
Okay. I would like to see the bill from the plumber. $273.12.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we're up to $633. What's next?
The house was left very, very dirty.
Now I will see a bill from a cleaning service to clean the apartment after the defendant left.
This was the...
Great. Window cleaning, she's not responsible for. So that's $400 that you paid to clean.
Yes, ma'am.
$1033. What else?
When she moved out, she took...
What else?
She didn't return all of the keys. I had to have the locks changed.
That's your business. What's next?
There was also one window that was broken and one that was missing completely, so I had to have those 2 windows replaced.
Picture, please. Do you know anything about a broken window?
I had replaced a broken window, yes, but the other window, no. And the window that she's talking about that's cracked or missing or whatever was from the gardeners. So I was not going to pay for the window that they broke. That was not on me.
Ms. Barreco never let me know there was a broken window.
Do you know how the gardeners broke that window?
Maybe a rock hit it, I don't know, but I know for a fact that it wasn't me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Did you replace a window?
I replaced a window, yes.
Tell me when you replaced a window and how did it come about that you needed to replace a window?
The window in the living room. My dog, there was somebody walking and he was barking and he pushed the window and it fell out and broke. I had that one replaced. But that one, I don't know.
Okay. And rooms. And as you can see, there's no window there.
Okay, very good. Would you remove the phone, please, and let me see the bill?
That's the glass shop bill.
$110. That's the glass.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so far, she owes you $143. You kept $1,000 of her security deposit. The overage of what you showed me is $143.
Additionally, she
Nowhere near
threw out all of the
$4,000.
curtains in the house. She admits to throwing them out.
Miss Estrada?
Yes, ma'am.
$143. Consider yourself lucky. We're finished. This case is over. Goodbye.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, the reasons to evict were growing.
He brought in his daughter, and then he brought in his second daughter, and then he brought in his third daughter.
You had 60 days to leave. Why didn't you?
Judge Judy.
Ms. Barreco destroyed my grandfather's house.
I am glad with the decision because I don't believe I should have paid anything.
It just broke my heart that she would be so disrespectful to me.
The house was not in perfect condition before I moved in.
We were arguing about the air conditioner. She was turning on the heat, and I turned on the air.
One of many fights. Police were called.
Then tempers boiled over.
She was like coming after me and getting in my face. I just picked up the frying pan for protection in case she attacked me.
You're not a tenant. You're a teenager with whom she had a fight and who picked up a frying pan.
This is Judge Judy. 19-year-old Justin Hodge is suing his mother, Christine Connell, for a broken phone, the return of property, moving costs, and an illegal eviction after they had a physical altercation.
Judge, this is case number 93 on the calendar in the matter of Hodge versus Connell. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Hodge,
Yes.
What's your date of birth?
September 13th, 2001.
The defendant is your mother.
Yes.
According to your complaint, for the last 6 years,
Yeah.
you've been living full-time with your mother. Prior to that, you were living with an aunt.
Yeah. It's like...
Judge, just pay attention to my question.
Yes, Honor.
Had you been living with your aunt since birth until you were 13, or on and off with your aunt until you were 13?
Basically, it's just like... since 3 years old.
Was your son living with your sister until he was 13?
Yes.
How come at 13, there must have been some reason for which I don't have to get into it, right in with your mother?
It's because my aunt was moving to Louisiana, and she gave me a choice if I want to move to go to Louisiana or with my mom in Milwaukee, Oregon. And I decided to go with my mom.
Did you see your mother often when you were living with your aunt?
Yeah, it's like every weekend I had like overnight stays with her.
Was this, Miss Connell, a court-ordered arrangement that your son lived with your sister?
Yeah, she filed guardianship of him.
Is he your only child?
Yes.
So she took custody of your son when he was an infant?
Yeah.
With your consent, and you saw him on weekend?
Yeah, he was like 4 months.
Okay. And since you were 13, you've been living with your mother?
Yes, Honor.
Your choice.
Yeah.
It is your claim, sir, that when you were 19, and that was September of this year.
Yes.
You and your mother had an altercation.
Yeah.
One of many fights.
Yes, Honor.
And police were called.
Yes.
It was suggested that you leave by the police.
Yeah.
And you left.
Yeah.
So you're suing your mother because you allege several things. That during the fight,
Yes, Honor.
she broke your phone.
Yeah.
And you're suing her for unlawful eviction.
Yes, Honor.
And in addition to unlawful eviction, your moving costs.
Yes, Honor.
And other property, the main piece of property is...
Yes, Honor.
Your mother says that you took all your clothes, the phone you broke yourself, the computer is hers because she bought it. And I'm telling you now, a 19-year-old cannot be evicted from their mother's house. You can get thrown out if you have a fight.
Yes.
And the police can be called. But you're not a tenant.
Yes, Honor.
Because in September, you had no job. I assume you weren't paying rent.
No, that's not true.
You were paying rent in September.
Yeah, it's only my...
From what job?
Six Flags.
I thought you lost your job.
I was working there before, Honor, but then they...
I'm talking about in September.
Basically, I was working there until October, then I lost it then.
Well, according to your complaint, you lost your job in March.
I got rehired because they were short of staff. They needed me back.
When?
Like September 15th, I got rehired.
Well, so between March and September, you weren't paying any rent.
No, that's true, Honor.
Okay, so if you were not paying any rent and you're living with your mother,
yes,
then you're not a tenant.
Yes, Honor.
You're a teenager.
Yes.
With whom she had a fight.
Yes, Honor.
And who picked up a frying pan to defend himself.
Yes,
right?
Honor. Yes, Honor.
All right. Now, you had a fight with your mother, and your phone was broken.
Yes.
Let's go back to who bought the phone. Who bought?
I think it was July 5th.
That sounds very nice of her.
Yes.
Now, you want to tell me how it came about that she broke your phone in September? Tell me.
Basically, we were just arguing, then I was pretending...
Not basically. I don't want to hear basically.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened.
I was just, like, texting my aunt, texting my aunt to tell her I might be going down to stay with her, and she says, that's fine. Then she took it out of my hand and, like, threw it against the wall. It's not cracked, but it won't plug in. It will, like, go on and off without charging.
Where's your phone now?
It's in my pocket, Honor.
Can I see it?
Yes, Honor. There it is.
When's the last time you made a phone call with it?
Since September, but I've been using my aunt's and my friend's phone.
No, I'm asking you, why would you carry around a phone that doesn't work?
I was just going to Metro PCS and see if they can help me fix it.
Good.
Yes.
Tell me about this frying pan that you picked up.
Basically...
when you and your mother were having a fight. Not basically.
Okay. I was just, like, doing it for protection because she was, like, coming after me and getting in my face.
What was she saying to you?
She said to turn off, because we were arguing about the air conditioner, and she was turning on the heat, and I turned on the air because it goes around the house, apartment.
So...
Yeah. Yes, Honor.
And then?
she was coming after me, turning off the air. Then I just picked up the frying pan for protection in case she attacked me.
And what did you do with the frying pan?
Just like threw it on the ground on the hardwood floor.
Did you hit the floor with it?
Yes.
How many times did you hit the floor with it?
Probably just like a couple times, probably like 4 times.
Couple is 2.
Yeah, 2 to
That's
4.
That's more than a couple.
Okay. Yes, Honor.
Did you cause any damage to the floor?
No.
Is that when your mother called the police?
No, the neighbors called the police, Honor.
Ah. Does anybody have a police report, or nobody has any evidence?
I have a couple evidence.
Do you have a police report?
No, the police never did the report. I already tried to call the Concord police, and before, they never had a police report typed.
Okay, very good.
Basically, I just have the evidence about the computer.
I'd like to first hear about the computer. What kind of a computer is it?
It was just basically like an extra computer screen, so I could just like...
Not a basically.
Okay.
What was it?
It was like a extra screen I can hook my laptop to, and I can watch movies on it. And it's when I turned it on, when I get to my aunt's house, it was like cracked.
So your mother gave it to you?
Basically, not the computer. It was...
Not basically.
Okay. Basically...
Not basically.
Sorry.
When you left... Not...
Okay.
Hey, move.
Yes.
You took your clothes and you took your laptop.
I never took my laptop, but my laptop was in my...
How did you...
Basically, my laptop was in
your
my...
what?
In my filing cabinet in my old room, and I had my screen took my computer to, my aunt's computer.
Where is your laptop now?
My mom has it, she said, Honor.
Okay. And when did you get it?
I never got it yet, Honor.
No, when did you get it? When did you purchase it?
August. Sometime in August at Target.
Did you purchase it or did your mother?
Basically, okay. I did it, Honor. I got it with my cash my friend gave me.
What friend gave you cash for a computer?
My old friend from my old work I used to work at.
How much did this old friend whose name you're going to tell me give you?
Like $300 for the computer.
Did you buy it new?
Yes, and it was at Target in Walnut Creek.
What's the name of the friend who gave you $300 for a computer?
Devin.
Devin what?
Devin was his name, Honor.
He's still alive, I assume.
Yes.
Do you still see him?
Yes, sometimes, but we usually get in arguments about stuff, but we're just taking a quick break talking each other.
Since when?
Since the fight me and my mom had in September.
What did Devin have to do with the fight you and your mother had?
We were just like up only from my old house apartment.
Why didn't you take the laptop with you?
I was in the cops.
You took your clothes?
Yeah, the cops was rushing me out of the house.
You took your clothes?
Yes.
Most young people who were 19 would take their phone, their laptop, and throw in a couple of shirts.
Yes.
Now, so he picked you up from your mother's house after the fight.
Yes,
Devin.
Honor.
When did you stop talking to him? He's the one who gave you the $300 for the computer.
Yeah, probably like October, end of September, we were stopped talking for a little bit.
Ms. Connell, tell me about this laptop.
I'm the one that paid for it, and I don't owe him anything, but I do have it with me.
No, don't. You have the laptop with you?
Yeah.
Good. Tell me when you purchased it.
I purchased it in September.
Do you have your own computer?
Yes.
What kind do you have?
I have an HP.
And what kind did you purchase for your son?
I purchased the HP.
Where did you purchase it?
In Walmart.
Do you remember how much it was?
It was like $200.
So you have your own?
Yes.
And when you purchased it at Walmart, you gave it to your son?
Yes.
As a gift?
Yeah.
Then you have to give it back to him?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you have it with you.
Yep.
And Bird will make arrangements for the transfer of his laptop back to him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your mother turns off the air conditioner in a house that she's paying for. That's a prerogative. You don't throw a fit and pick up a frying pan. If you're a teenager living at home, your mother owns the air that you breathe.
And later today,
we're going to go further if I'm not satisfied with the answer. Do you understand that I've been doing this here for 17 years? How old are you?
22.
That means when I started to be a star, you were still pooping in your pants.
Justin Hodge claims his mother, Christine Connell, broke his phone, stole his laptop, and illegally evicted him after they had a physical altercation.
Okay, you're going to get your laptop back, young man. Do you understand?
Yes.
You don't get moving costs. You don't get costs for wrongful eviction. You probably get to say, I'm sorry for all this stuff to your mother, because it sounds to me, based upon just what you told me, that she was trying to be nice to you.
Yes, Honor.
Yeah. Your mother turns off the air conditioner in a house that she's paying for. That's her prerogative.
Yes,
and
Honor.
if you're 19 and you want to go live with your aunt, that's terrific, and pick up a frying pan. If you're a teenager living at home, your mother owns the air that you breathe. We're going to make an order for the exchange of the laptop. Thank you very much. This case is over.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
My friend got it for me, not her.
He was suing me for nothing.
I don't know what's going to happen.
That we can get along and everything can be good.
Sorry, Mom.
Apology was accepted.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cooper versus Black, step forward.
Tracy Cooper is suing 22-year-old Jeff Black for stealing her exercise machine.
Mr. Black, where is Miss Cooper's exercise machine? Before you answer the question, don't conjure up, don't machinate, don't ruminate. Just think about what I'm saying to you. Where is her exercise machine? Don't look there. Don't look there, because whatever answer you give me, we're going to go further if I'm not satisfied with the answer. Do you understand me?
I do.
And do you understand that I've been doing this here for 17 years?
I do.
How old are you?
22.
22. That means when I started to be a star, you were still pooping in your pants. Do you understand where her exercise machine is today? Look here. Answer the question.
Not in my possession.
That's not what I asked you. I said, where is it today? Don't look there. Where is the exercise machine today? Don't go.
I don't
when
know.
I'm finished making you look ridiculous, I'm going to start working on her. So just answer the question, where is her exercise machine today? Let's start with what state is it in? Look at me.
Oregon?
Are you a fool? Why are you asking me with a question mark at the end of that? Is it in Oregon? Who are you?
I'm his fiance.
You're his fiance. Is he really an idiot? Is he really an idiot? Stand up. Your name?
Sarah.
Where's the exercise machine?
He sold it.
Where? Where?
To his friend.
His friend who?
I don't know.
First name?
Adam.
When? Don't look over there.
About a month ago.
Were you present at the sale?
Yes.
Where did it take place?
Our house.
How many times have you met Adam? Or Adam?
At the sale.
How did he get the exercise machine out of your house?
He had himself and a mover that works for him come and pick it up.
See how easy that was, idiot?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me. He's a hustler and a bum. You want to hitch your wagon to that star? You go right ahead and do it. I'm telling you, you look like a lovely young lady. Make any big mistakes. Big mistakes last you for a long time.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tracy Cooper is accusing Jeff Black of stealing her exercise machine. Jeff claims Tracy abandoned it.
You see how easy that was? Now you can sit. When did you notify him that you wanted your exercise machine back?
April 15th, 2013.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a horse trainer.
What does he do?
He's a mover.
He's a bum. He's a bum. Listen to me. He's a hustler and a bum. I'm going to tell you why. Because I read his answer. And his answer said, she agreed to sell me the exercise machine for $500. That's if I believe him. He sold it, according to you. And you're not a liar, are you?
No.
A month ago. To somebody who we knew. To somebody who you knew. He couldn't give me those answers because he was trying to fool me. He was trying to figure out what to say so that I wouldn't find me. If you're an honest girl, he's not. He's dishonest. Now I want Adam's last name. I want Adam's last name.
I don't know his last name.
You're not as cocky as you were when you first came in, right?
Wasn't cocky at all.
Sure you were. All right, this is what this case is about. You made some sort of an arrangement with Mr. Black to move you from one place to another. By the way, you have a company?
I do.
What's the name of your company?
This case was not regarding my company.
Well, you did move her, didn't you?
This was not involving my company because I did not receive any type of money for this. I did this by myself to help her out because she was going through a tough situation. She was.
Listen, you want to hitch your wagon to that star, you go right ahead and do it. I've been around the track a few times myself, and I'm telling you, what I see, what I hear, you look like a lovely young lady. Make any big mistakes. Big mistakes last you purchased the exercise machine.
I have the original receipt, August 16th, 2009.
Now, stand up. We're going to ask you another question because I can't get a straight answer from him. When Adam purchased the exercise machine, when you were present for the transaction, how much did he sell the exercise machine for? Don't say you don't know.
$500.
Probably about what it's worth from 2009. Did you send her the $500?
Wasn't able to get a hold of her.
So the answer is?
No.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Anything else you want to tell me?
Judge Judy, I was hoping just to get the machine back.
Can't get the machine back.
Okay.
He sold it to somebody for $500.
Okay.
The person who he sold it to for $500 did not purchase a $5,000 piece of equipment for $500. He purchased an old exercise machine that some people paid to get rid of for somebody to take out of their house. But he paid $500 for it, which is probably a reasonable deal for that person. You clearly didn't want him. He says for $500. His problem is he's a scam artist. At some point, he was supposed to move you back. He said you can keep the exercise machine. I have no use for it anymore, as long as you move me from one place to another. When it came to move from that one place to another, according to you, he was nowhere to be found. So now he had your exercise machine that you told him he could have, and he wasn't moving you. So you spoke, you said, listen, you want to buy it? He says, I'll give you $500 for it. According to him, you said, fine. He sells it later for $500 and doesn't give you your money. That's what the case is about. It's very easy. Okay. You have anything else you don't want to say? Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, a customer looking for a friend.
60 pages of text messages, a lot of emojis, and a lot of just personal things being shared with me.
Next Judge Judy.
I did this out of the kindness of my heart. I wasn't receiving any money for this.
The truth is that I wanted the machine back.
It was sitting in my possession for several months, and it came down to she wanted to sell it.
It is a 22.
And then she wanted the exercise machine back, and after I sold it, I can't give it back to you.
It's unfortunate that it did have to get this far.
I don't think that he's dishonest.
That's not true. He was operating under his company name.
I think that he was a little bit nervous in there.
When he did move me 2 times.
And that's maybe why he wasn't answering the questions so quickly.
Get everything in writing.
I think she was a little bit harsh. Yeah.
Happy to be done with it, and thank you again, Judge Judy.
It was just so awful and so horrible.
The judge sums up a neighbor's trauma.
Didn't assault you, didn't threaten you.
I think he's behaved in a way that I felt threatened.
How you felt is not relevant.
And a camera captures the total picture.
I just couldn't take it anymore because he was cursing at me and yelling at me.
That, sir, is not a demonstration of someone who's in fear.
This is Judge Judy. Aviram Kavan is suing his condominium neighbor, Alan Hanft, for legal fees and punitive damages for filing a false restraining order.
Judge, this is case number 138 on the calendar in the matter of Kavan versus Hanft. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, sir.
in an apartment building.
A condo building, Your Honor.
According to your complaint, you share a penthouse with Mr. Hampt.
He's my next-door neighbor.
The problem between the two of you arose when you were doing a renovation. Were you doing a renovation when you first moved into your apartment?
No, Your Honor, I've lived in the building for 6 years now. I started my renovations in November of 2019, so 1 year ago.
How long, Mr. Hampt, have you lived in that building?
Since 2015.
So you moved in after the plaintiff moved in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who do you live there with?
I live by myself. I have a dog.
And Mr. Cavan, who do you live with?
I live by myself. I also have a dog.
I assume that prior to this renovation that you were doing, you and the defendant had no difficulty.
Correct, Your Honor.
I assume, Mr. Hampt, that prior to this renovation, you and the plaintiff had no difficulty.
No.
And prior to the renovation and the discussion about the balcony and the awning, you had no fear of him.
No, but I do now, and I have for several months.
Just a second. Just to answer my questions.
I've always been a little bit afraid of his pit bull, and it's been roaming in the hallway more at times since this all started.
Well, before this all started, did you ever discuss with him that his dog was roaming in the... You mean before?
Before and during.
Okay. At some point in the renovation, Mr. Cavan, you approached the defendant and said to him that as part of the renovation, you no longer wanted an awning covering your balcony. And you asked the defendant if you could take it down. He said no. And according to you, you took down the covering that covered your part of the balcony. Do you have pictures of that awning before you took it down?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to look at them.
Please, yeah.
When you took it down, the defendant clearly complained to the Homeowners Association, and you were reprimanded for taking down the awning without written permission.
Absolutely.
So I would like to see pictures of this awning,
okay,
which sort of forms the genesis of this case.
From the inside view of before the awning, if you see where this divider is here.
So it's a solid awning.
It's an aluminum solid awning from dating back from 1963, I think, maybe.
And certainly you understand that that's a fixture part of the building, and that in order to remove that, which I assume all the balconies have that are penthouses, there are only 2 penthouse apartments?
No, so there's 9 penthouse apartments. I was not the first to remove it. In fact, someone else has already removed it.
Point is, you took off the awning.
Absolutely.
That's actually not what the case is about, but it's sort of the genesis of the difficulty.
Yeah,
between you
it stemmed
and
from
Mr.
here.
And so you did take the awning down. The defendant was upset about that. According to his cross-complaint, he began to feel nervous around you because you had words with each other. And he filed a protective order against you, the basis of which was ridiculous, according to you, and forced you to spend close to $5,000 in counsel fees to defend that lawsuit, which ultimately was either dismissed or withdrawn by the defendant. So it's really not about the awning. It's really about the protective order.
Correct.
The awning's done.
The awning is done.
And Mr. Haft says that after this awning incident, they developed a course of conduct that he found harassing and threatening, and that's why he filed for a protective order. I don't know what happened to the protective order. He's going to tell me. But, Mr. Haft, since really the whole issue is up to you to convince me that you had a reasonable basis to file for a protective order, I'm going to start with you. The first thing is I want you to show me a copy of the complaint that you filed, and then I have questions for you. Great. Now I want you to tell me, Mr. Haft, in what month and over his apartment?
He took it down November 13th, I believe, 2019, and the awning issue is not the point of this, but it's not resolved either.
Now, the awning issue precipitated the difficulty between the two of you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which formed the basis for your application for a protective order.
Yes.
Which forms the basis of his claim that you filed a false protective order.
It was totally not false,
So what
Your
I
Honor.
want you... So, just a second. That's why we're here, sir. You have to understand 2 things. Conduct by someone against whom you filed a protective order has to be such that a reasonably prudent person would understand that this was threatening behavior. If you come to a circumstance and you feel threatened, but there is no overt demonstration of threatening behavior that a reasonable person would view as threatening behavior, that a court considers when they consider whether the filing of a protective order is real or not. So now we're going to go back to November 13th, 2019, which is the incident that precipitated this bad feeling. And tell me the first incident that you allege, and you don't allege any of these things. You don't allege anywhere that he assaulted you.
Physically,
correct?
no.
So protective order covers conduct that is assaultive, menacing, usually for protective orders.
I would say it was more harassing.
Fine. And so if you characterize, so didn't assault you, didn't menace you, didn't threaten you.
I think he said things that I felt threatened by him and behaved in a way that I felt threatened.
Well, no. Well, how you felt is not relevant. If the behavior itself did not rise to the level of what a reasonable person under the circumstance would find threatening behavior. So
he would yell at me and curse at me in my private.
No.
It actually started in August when he was approaching me. He wanted me to say that I wanted to take down the roof. And I started off just explaining to him again and again that I preferred to have the roof, the sun protection, and the rain protection. And he just kept asking me, and I kept explaining it politely, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he started, badgering me, telling me it has to come down.
No. Listen, Mr. Haft, you're looking over to the side. What I want you to do is look at me. Badgering is a conclusory term. I want you to tell me what he did. The fact that you found it badgering is not particularly relevant. So he kept asking you to put your hand down. Give me a specific date where he said...
May 9th, he said that he had enough of me. He's tired of taking it easy on me. He called me this, he called me that. He said it in a very hostile way. I found it frightening. I didn't want to pass him to go home. Then when I started to take my phone out of my pocket because it was so horrible and just frightening and upsetting and just a terrible experience, this is so bad I want to try to record it because it's awful. And then he amazingly, immediately just stopped. Then I go, well, why aren't you cursing at me anymore? Why did you stop cursing at me now that I have my phone out? And it was incredible. He goes, I never cursed. I go, you were just cursing at me like 9 seconds ago. He goes, tell me what I said. I want to hear you say it. And then he called me like an idiot and a child. And this was the first time I said this to him. And after months and months of being fearful of him, I said, look, I can't take this anymore in my own home. If you don't stop harassing me and abusing me, you're going to have to explain this to the police or a judge or somebody because I can't take it. And he goes, shut up. Get your judge. Get your police. And then he left. And I also want to say one thing. He'd been confronting me and following me around and jumping out of his apartment, jumping in the elevator. I'd be walking my dog and just staring daggers at me. I wouldn't even want to return home. I wouldn't want to even leave my apartment. And in this whole time, Your Honor, that this was going on, I was proud of myself. I either spoke to him politely, or if I saw him coming after it got bad, I would walk in the other way. I never showed any emotion. This was the only time that I ever showed any emotion. I showed it to my friends when I would tell them what's been happening to me, but the only emotion that I ever expressed in front of him about this horrible stuff that he was doing was that time, because I just couldn't take it anymore, because he was cursing at me and yelling at me, and it was just so awful and so horrible. In my own home, I didn't want to walk out of my door for the longest time already. If I see his car parked in the building, I feel sick to my stomach because he's going to confront me and harass me. And it's very, very unpleasant, and that should not be how it is in somebody's home, Your Honor, is what I believe.
All right, Mr. Haft, now I want you to just stifle it for a moment. And what I find interesting about what you told me is if he stopped doing what he was doing, cursing you and calling you names, when you went to take out your phone, and instead of going into your apartment, you said to him, why did you stop cursing at me? Why don't you say the same words that you were saying before? Just a second. I'm just letting you know. That, sir, is not a demonstration of someone who's in fear.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If I was afraid of somebody, I wouldn't say to them, come on, talk into the phone like you were talking before, because I would have darted into my apartment.
I couldn't get by him.
No, that's not true. You're making that up.
Aviram Kavan says condominium neighbor Alan Hanft filed a false restraining order after they had a disagreement over a shared awning. Alan is countersuing for legal fees, harassment, and infliction of emotional distress.
Okay, if I was afraid of a neighbor,
That was the one and only time I ever said anything to him like that.
it doesn't matter. You're not paying attention to what I'm saying to you. If I was afraid of somebody because they were yelling and cursing at me and took out my phone and the person stopped and backed off, I wouldn't say to them, come on, talk into the phone like you were talking before, because I would have darted into my apartment if I was afraid.
I couldn't get
Mr.
by
Ham.
him.
If I was afraid. No, that's not true. You're making that up.
No, I'm not.
There had to be something before emails that you sent to the Homeowners Association about the plaintiff.
Your Honor, while he's looking for that, can I just mention that the incident that he's just mentioned was all caught on CCTV. I actually had it subpoenaed.
Do you have it?
It should be available on the monitor.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see it.
There is no audio.
That was the only time in
now
like
I'm reading.
12 months that I
Just
spoke
a second.
back to him.
Right. I'm reading something. So this was January of 2020. Preventing me from leaving the service. Okay. Now, was this the first time, Mr. Haft, you had complained about the plaintiff's dog?
No. Here's when October 23rd, 2019.
Okay, I'd like to see it. Okay, and that was October of 2019. Mr. Kavan, now each time around this time, were you contacted by the board, Mr. Kavan?
I've had numerous issues with the board. I used to actually be on the board for 2 years. I was voted on for 2 years. So one of the members of the HOA I had some issues with, mainly...
She called the police on him. She was afraid.
I want to tell you something. If you do that again, sir, I'm going to dismiss your counterclaim. Do you understand? Yes. Because it's a demonstration of behavior that is odd, Mr. Haft. Now, each time a letter was the 8th of this year, each time a letter was sent, were you contacted by the board?
No.
Did you ever receive any communication from the board?
I have, not with regard to my neighbor, just mainly the awning.
Were you fined for removing the awning?
Yes, it's actually still ongoing. It's over $10,000.
Okay, this is how I'm going to summarize all of the underlying action that I have to know before I get to my final questioning of you, Mr. Haft. Prior to you deciding to ask for forgiveness rather than permission, that you clearly had to know you needed as a former board member, Mr. Kavan, to remove the awning, you removed it anyway, and that clearly created bad feeling. And there is no question in my mind that based upon what the defendant says, after he complained and made a pest of himself, became a nudnik to the board, clearly you were annoyed with him. He was certainly annoyed that you had removed this top balcony, and a situation developed that he felt that the recourse that he had was to file a protective order against you. I don't know what he was asking for. It's not particularly relevant because the protective order was ultimately dismissed. So now I have several questions for you, Mr. That's either I still live there or I moved. That's either I still live there or I moved.
I still live there.
And I want you to tell me, what date did you file for the protective order? Just give me the month, day, and year.
June 23rd of this year, Your Honor.
When was the case either tried or dismissed?
It was going to be tried on August 15th, but he asked for a continuance.
I don't know whether you're purposely trying, if you're purposely trying to get on my nerves.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You do not deny the statement that the plaintiff has not lived in the building since the gut renovation started.
I don't know where he's lived.
Okay. Fully believe.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Aviram Kavan says condo neighbor Alan Hanft filed a false restraining order after they had a disagreement over a shared awning.
Okay, I want to know on what date the case was either tried or dismissed.
September 25th.
Did you withdraw the protective order on September 25th or
Yes.
24th? Now I would like to see the video of the May 8th.
Your Honor, that door is the freight elevator door.
Got it. Okay.
Since the renovation started, it's been a complete teardown, so it's been completely uninhabitable. So anytime I've been there, it's really...
So you have not been in the building since your renovation started?
Well, I would obviously come to check up on the workers.
But you haven't lived there?
No, I've barely been there.
Do you have a paid invoice from your attorney?
I do.
I'd like to see it. You do not deny the statement, Mr. Hanft, that the plaintiff has not lived in the building since the gut renovation started.
I don't know where he's lived.
Okay, fully believe me. It's dismissed for harassment. I am awarding the plaintiff the counsel fees that he's requested, $4,875.
There was one extra bill.
From whom?
I had to retrieve footage. I had to get a subpoena for the footage, and the building charged me.
Just a second. All right. Well, that brings your claim to over $5,000. That's the maximum that I can award you, sir. Okay. There are several things, Mr. Hanft. When you have a neighbor that you're unhappy with, there are several things that you do. One of the things that you don't do when they are no longer physically your neighbor is you don't file for a protective order and you withdraw when it was ready to go to trial. And some arbitrator like me could have looked at that footage and said, who looks like the person who is more aggressive? In that footage of May 8th, the only aggressive conduct and body language that I saw was yours, right from the beginning.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, he's not living there anymore. He should have not taken the steps that he did in renovating his apartment without HOA approval. That is clear. I do not condone that. And there are consequences to that. And he hasn't lived in his place. That's the consequences. I'm sure that anymore. Now I'm issuing a judgment. And the judgment that I'm issuing is that you're going to pay his counsel fees. If he had counsel fees of almost $5,000, sir, you had no business in on the eve of trial. After forcing him to pay $5,000, you withdrew the case. I don't see why you withdraw the case. Maybe your attorney had the footage. Anyway, your counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Either you lied to me today or you lied to the Better Business Bureau.
That was a mistake I made.
It's always a mistake when you get caught.
Your Honor, may I say...
Nothing.
Okay.
Next Judge Judy.
I was not comfortable returning home or opening my door.
Alan has been a complete nightmare of a neighbor.
And I'm only human. I showed some emotion on that one time in the entire year.
He enjoys playing the victim. He's neurotic.
I'd like him to stay away from me and leave me alone.
I would like to go separate ways, and hopefully we'll be happy again at some point.
You owe him $3,950.
No, I don't.
The virus held up her security deposit.
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
It's irrelevant to this case that you had COVID.
Now a landlord holds nothing back.
You want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send your mother, send your father, send a friend. You're full of baloney.
This is Judge Judy.
Michelle Spaulding is suing her former landlord, Kirk Wilterding, for the return of her security deposit.
Justice case number 113 on the calendar in the matter of Spaulding versus Wilterding. Parties have been sworn in.
Ms. Spaulding, your case is a relatively simple one. It is your claim that the defendant took a house from him.
That is correct.
He gave you a 60-day notice. You did, in fact, move out, and he retained $3,950 of your security.
That is correct.
So far correct? Okay, so Mr. Wilterding, I'm going to start with you, sir. The Spauldings rented your house. They gave you in security deposit $3,950,
Correct.
which you know you're supposed to keep segregated in a separate account. Do you know that?
I do know that, and it was
That's
segregated.
a yes? Good. And you can prove that to me if I needed it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
In what bank did you keep it segregated?
I have it in a separate account that's one of my LLCs, not a personal account.
What LLC do you have there?
Just my account.
$3,950.
My account. And I actually sent them a copy because they asked for it.
Then I'm just asking you, why can't you tell me what bank you have there $3,950 in?
It's Wells Fargo.
Okay. Let's proceed a little further. According to you, you had a girlfriend, you were moving to California, you lived in your house for a couple of years, then you moved with your girlfriend, then COVID struck, and you decided you wanted to move home. They were already living in the house, you gave them a 60-day notice. That's what you wrote in your answer and swore to. Do you remember that?
Correct.
Good. And they did, in fact, move out. And with them, as a result of your 60-day notice, you made a date to do a walkthrough with them before they left, which is what people do when they have a rental property so that the people are moving out, say, this is what the place looks like, and you have an opportunity to look at and say, this is my damage, and I'm going to deduct that from your security deposit. You don't have to put anything anywhere. You weren't feeling well on the day of the walkthrough. That's what you wrote, correct?
Correct.
And according to you, you lost your sense of smell because you had COVID.
What does that have to do with the walkthrough?
Well, it has to do with the walkthrough, sir, because you say by the time you entered the house and regained your sense of smell, that's what it has to do with it. You said,
I didn't say
that
any
in your
of that.
answer.
You're just making that up. I didn't say any of that.
Okay.
I missed.
Really?
If you would
Okay.
like me to explain,
Just a sec.
I missed. If I can
No,
explain.
I'm just looking at it. I may, just a second. I may have been mistaken, so I'm going to read your answer. You said, due to COVID-19, I decided to move back into my house. I gave them a 60-day notice, and they complied. Michelle asked for her deposit back on the day they moved out. I told her she had to wait for damage checks, but you already had a date for a walkthrough that you didn't go to. I started feeling ill, so I missed the signature on it.
It says nothing about smell.
Soon after that, I moved back into my house. I got COVID-19. Following my doctor's instructions, I quarantined until I felt better. It took a full month before I was symptom-free. That's what you wrote. When I finally got my sense of smell back, I knew I wasn't crazy. I can't make that up.
30 days later?
The smell of dog was obvious. The smell of dog was obvious, and I needed to change the carpet and pad. That's what you swore to in your answer, sir, right?
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms. You can see I have a letter from my doctor, so I did not want to infect them. I didn't say that I didn't have smell.
I don't care.
And that's what...
No, just a second. You said...
30 days later.
You just said, I don't care, sir. You owe him $3,950.
No, I don't.
You missed the walkthrough.
There's more to the story. I missed the walkthrough because I was sick. I had COVID. So you want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send somebody in your place.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
Send your girlfriend. So just a second.
I didn't have anybody available. It's a 2-hour drive. I have nobody available. I have nobody.
Send your mother.
No one.
Send
my
your
mother.
father.
My mother lives in
friend.
Minnesota.
Hey, listen to me, sir. You're full of baloney because you lived in that house according to you for 2 years.
I came a long way. If you'd like to actually hear the story.
Listen to me. It's irrelevant to this case that you had COVID. It is totally
How is it
irrelevant
irrelevant
to this case.
Why do I wear a mask then? We're not supposed to infect people. We're supposed to quarantine. Really? So Judge Judy says nobody has to quarantine.
No. How many times have you had COVID?
No.
I've had it twice.
No, no, shh. No. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. Don't talk over me. I wouldn't suggest.
Well, you're not letting me talk. Why am I here?
Personally,
you're not letting me talk. Why am I here? Why am I here?
You're here to pay $3,950 just for the plaintiff. That's it. Out. We're done.
This case has been concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm honestly just happy that the truth came out. He clearly showed his true colors.
Because my whole house smells like dog. My brand new house, 2,800 square feet of carpet, smells like dog.
And that was my total interaction with him the entire time that we were his tenants.
They had it cleaned, they put perfume on the carpet, and it stinks.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
So I have 2,800 square feet of dog carpet. It's $6,500 to fix. So their measly deposit doesn't even cover it.
I'm glad I'm done with this nightmare and I don't have to deal with him anymore.
All parties in the matter of Roberts versus Patton. Step to the podium.
Charles Roberts is suing Bryn Patton for the return or value of a dirt bike.
Mr. Patton, I'm going non-running dirt bike. And you own a mechanic shop, and he asked you sometime last year if you could get the bike up and running.
Correct,
So far, correct?
Correct.
So I want you to understand that Mr. Roberts, who I haven't spoken to yet, looks like a reasonably intelligent man. And you came out and you looked at the bike for the purposes of giving him an estimate as to how much it would cost to get this non-running dirt bike up and running. So far, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did, in fact, give him an estimate of what you thought, because you're the professional, of what you thought it would take to get the bike up and running, correct?
After we went through it, Your Honor, and diagnosed everything and did a complete workup on it.
No, at the house, before you took possession of the bike, he asked you for an estimate.
Which we cannot provide.
Did you give him?
No.
Well, what did you look at the bike at his house for?
Actually, we just went to pick it up to get it going for him.
Okay, great. So you went and picked it up. On what date did you pick it up? Do you recall, Mr. Patton?
I don't recall the exact date, no, ma'am.
Do you recall the month?
April or May of
Mr. Roberts, just give me the month that he picked up the bike.
April.
Say it was March in your papers.
That's my best recollection, Your Honor.
March of 2020. Okay, so you picked up the bike, Mr. Patton, according to you, and you took it back to your shop for a diagnosis and an estimate of what it would cost to fix it. And you didn't keep that estimate to yourself because you're in business. So you relayed that estimate to Mr. Roberts. What did you tell him it would cost to fix the bike after you diagnosed it? No, I don't want to hear the word basically or like or about. Now you took the bike back to your shop.
We were given the instructions to complete.
I'm giving you a question, sir, and what I suggest you do is a believable answer. If you don't, I assume you have family who are among the 9 or 10 million people who watch this program every day. I said to you at the beginning, Mr. Roberts is an intelligent person. If I took my bike or my car into a mechanic to be repaired, and they said I have to do a diagnostic, and they took the car to do a diagnostic, then they communicate with me as to what it will cost to fix it after they've done the diagnostic. So don't give me a lot of who shot John.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, unfortunately, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Your answer belies credulity. Sir, don't look slick to me, sir. I can tell slick. Don't think of what I'm saying to you.
And later today,
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
Tell me how that happened.
She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
Charles Roberts says mechanic Bryn Patton owes for the return or value of a dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
What I'm asking you, sir, is after the diagnostic, what estimate did you give them?
We were given an order to fix the bike and get it running so that it was in proper running condition. He was leaving town.
I don't believe... just a second.
Okay.
Now, I'm not believing you.
Okay.
Mr. Patton, I'm not believing you, sir.
Well, unfortunately, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Your answer belies credulity, sir. It belies credulity.
Well,
that somebody had a non-working dirt bike and said, as you're quoted in your answer. So now, since I don't believe you, I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions, because that's what this case is about. He wants his bike back, and you have a ridiculous counterclaim. Now, is the bike currently, don't look slick to me, sir, I can tell slick. Don't think of what I'm saying to you. Is the bike currently running?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it currently in your shop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you getting an appearance fee for coming to this program today?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
To be honest, I do not recall. This is the third time this has happened, and each time things have been very different. So with the COVID, things have...
Fine. So you don't know. Whatever it is, you know it's something,
That's right.
Okay, good. So nothing better happened to this bike, because they're going to hold whatever that appearance fee is until we make this exchange and we have a running dirt bike. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Great. Now, originally you say he came out and looked and said maybe between $300 and $400. Okay, that's a good guesstimate. You know, that never is what it is. You never get charged exactly the top end of an estimate.
Right.
What you say to me is, in your complaint, is that in July, so we had March, April, May, June, now in July, Brian texted me, which you have, that the cost of the repair, $580. Do you recall texting him that figure, sir?
I texted
Mr.
many
Patton.
times. Oh, wait.
No.
Sorry, I apologize.
Do you recall texting him that the bill, which originally you said would be maybe between $300 and $400, is now $580 in August? Do you recall saying that to him?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take a look at that text.
Here's the text. August 21st, he says, $580 plus tax.
Plus tax on parts. So say the repairs was $600.
Fair enough.
Right? Say repairs was $600, but he said, I think I have a buyer. Forget any other deal. $600 with the repairs then. And according to Mr. Patton's answer, Mr. Patton, I want you to listen carefully. You said I had the bike fixed within a few weeks. So that $580 plus tax on parts was a completed figure. That's what the figure was. $600, which was twice the lowest estimate that I believe that you gave him, but a couple of $100 more than the highest estimate. And according to you, you said to him, I kept asking Charles to pick up his property and pay his bill. He kept $1,500. He complained. Why would it cost $1,500?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
we were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does.
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charles Roberts says mechanic Bryn Patton owes for the return or value of a dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
Now, why would it cost $1,500?
I don't recall why I don't know how that conversation even occurred. I don't recall it.
You don't recall telling him that the cost was $1,500 now?
Charging him $1,500? I do not recall that. No, ma'am.
Did the person who wanted to buy the bike, because I'm looking at that text message, Mr. Patton, did the person who wanted to buy the bike, was that your son?
He's my son, yes.
Okay, and then he decided not to buy it.
Correct.
Did he use how many times? Once or more than once?
During the
once or more than?
More than once.
More than 10 times?
No. And it's just not my
Between
son.
5 and 10
we have technicians that ride it as we repair things. They have to be test ridden.
No, I'm talking just about your son, sir, not about the technicians, just your son.
Oh, no, he only rode it one time. The first time that he was going to ride it. He wanted to see if he was going to buy it or not.
Okay, very good. All right, it's a relatively easy case, Mr. Roberts. You see, you didn't have to say anything. You have to give him $600. When you give him $600 and go and retrieve your bike, you can do that with a marshal. The bike will be in perfect running order because that's what Mr. Patton says. It's in perfect running order, and there are things that we will hold hostage in order to make sure that you get that bike in good running order for the cost of $600, which you think is fair, correct?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Very good. We're finished. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I think it's a fair decision. It's a little frustrating because he quoted me $300 to $400 to repair the bike.
I believe it was a fair decision. I believe we kind of came here and got the answer we wanted.
Then the bill came back as $580, and then when I went to pick it up, he presented me with an invoice for over $1,000.
There was a dispute between the payment that he felt was owed and what we were charging.
I'm just like, this is a
matter of Swenson versus Miller. Step to the podium, please.
Doug Swenson is suing his ex-girlfriend, Kathy Miller, for an unpaid loan.
Mr. Swenson?
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, sir, the defendant was your girlfriend for a couple of years.
Yes, ma'am.
From when to when?
It was March of 2017, I believe, up until September of 2020.
And it is your claim that just before the breakup, you loaned her $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a bad argument sometime in...
September 16th is when it was.
The answer says on October 18th, he showed up at my house unannounced about the money.
We could have the months.
But you broke up?
Yeah, it was in September.
In September, you broke up?
Yes, ma'am, on the 16th.
Okay. Did you go to her house to collect the money in October?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you?
Yes, ma'am. $500.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am, the $500 that she owed me. That's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money
when
you broke up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. To judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you.
Yes, ma'am. The $500 that she owed me. That's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money
when
you broke up.
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
She gave it to you. Look, listen to me. She gave it to you voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am. She said exactly to me,
Tell me how that happened.
Yeah. Okay, well, now here's what happened. She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
We were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does because he came and helped me find the car. He knows about cars. So that night...
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
I did.
Did you do that?
Because he was putting it in my face.
Well, that's not what you said here in your answer, which is the only reason I'm hearing this case, because you said he blocked my car in so I couldn't leave. I had no choice but to give him the money. What do you mean that was the next day?
The next morning he came to my house.
I want to know when it was that you gave him the $500.
When he came to my house.
Not at his house.
No.
I don't believe either one of you. Actually, it doesn't make any difference. If you gave him the money, then you owe him the balance of $500, okay? And by giving him the $500, you acknowledge that you owed him $1,000, you gave him $500, you owe him $500. Oh, my God. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I think it was absolutely correct.
I guess it's fair.
I helped her out, and I felt she was very unappreciative.
Well, he gave me the money, and he said, don't worry about it.
We got in a huge fight. She wanted to leave in my house in the middle of the night and stuff, and...
You know, don't take anything from anybody.
Yeah, I just, I wanted my money back.
Just do it on your own.
You were cooking out of your home for profit.
Was a social media comment in poor taste?
She said, please beware and don't purchase from her.
Do you have a food license to be able to cook and sell to the public?
No, I don't.
The judge has
breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house. You don't have a love affair with the truth.
This is Judge Judy.
Colleen Fuller is suing Moshe Platt for defamation of character and loss of income after Moshe slandered her on Facebook.
Judge's case number 160 on the calendar in the matter of Fuller versus Platt. Parties have been sworn in. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Fuller, this is what I gather from your complaint. Because of the COVID pandemic, the governor of your state, Governor Newsom in California, closed all restaurants to in-person dining indoors. But would you stop moving around, please? You're making me seasick.
Sorry.
And you belong to some sort of a food group. You posted, according to you, on your Facebook page, a statement, which I will look at. According to you, the statement indicated that you were going to be sort of a vigilante, and if you knew anyone who was breaking the rule and allowing for indoor dining, you were going to report them.
Correct.
Tell me exactly what you posted on your Facebook page. Read it to me.
Okay. It says, if I see any inside dining open, I'm calling OSHA, ABC, whoever I need to, point blank, period.
Out of that, the defendant, who you knew, you say called you.
She called me at my job. She didn't call my phone directly.
That's not true.
Well, just a second. Hold on a second. How would somebody that doesn't know you know where you work?
Because she's friends with my employer's daughter. And she called my employer's daughter and got the phone number that way.
Are you telling me that prior to receiving a call from her, you didn't know who she was?
I knew who she was, but when she called,
Okay.
That was the first conversation I've ever had with her in my life.
I'm not asking you whether that's the first conversation. You knew who she was.
Yes.
Had you ever seen her before?
Yes.
Where had you seen her before?
I seen her one time at Food for Less.
And what was the defendant doing there?
Shopping.
So you were just two strangers shopping?
Yes.
Did you exchange any word, like a hello?
She did with my employer.
You mean you were just standing there?
Yes, I was loading groceries onto the belt to be rang up.
So aside from that one meeting where she was there and spoke to your employer, you had never seen her before or after?
No.
Did your employer introduce you to her?
No.
So she didn't know your name?
She did know my name.
Wow.
Because my sister...
These are not two strangers that she called you up. I'm trying to get to the truth of it. You're making it difficult for me.
Okay, well, she knows who I am, and I know who she is because our sisters used to be best friends about 15 years ago.
So according to you, that's the way you know her. Your sisters used to be best friends.
Yes.
Had you seen her 15 years ago?
No.
If your sisters were best friends?
No.
Never saw her?
No, I didn't live with my sister
her.
when growing up. I didn't live with my sister growing up.
How do you know your sister was best friends with her sister?
Because I was around her sister. When she would hang out with my sister and sometimes I would be visiting with her, she would be there.
Her sister?
Yes.
So that there is a connection. I'm just trying to figure out how a person, because she's in the restaurant business.
Right.
And she, according to you, called you, you say, at your place of employment.
Yes.
And threatened you about this post that you put up on your Facebook page that you're going to report anybody that you see violating the rule about indoor dining to whomever will listen, whatever media outlet will listen, whatever governmental agency will listen.
Yes.
Subsequent to that phone call, which I'm sure was unpleasant, you decided to do some sort of a fundraiser benefit.
For my brother.
Why?
Because he has schizophrenia and he also has a substance abuse problem, and I was trying to raise money to get him into treatment.
Is that what you wrote in your fundraising advertising?
No, I didn't. I really didn't want to put his business out there like that.
So what did you say?
I have the poster right here, what I had, if you would like me to read it to you.
Sure.
Okay. It says, all homemade, delicious chili beans and white rice and cornbread and fried chicken. Can also put crackers if you'd like. Nice size servings and $10 a plate or 2 for $15. I can also deliver for free. And then I posted pictures.
Just a second. It doesn't say that you're doing it for anything other than yourself. It doesn't say anything about fundraiser.
It doesn't say anything, but that's what it was for.
I don't care what you're selling me now it was for, because I believe that that's probably a whole lot of baloney. So what you were doing is you were cooking out of your home for commercial sale for profit. That's what you were advertising. $10 a plate or 2 for $15. You advertised what it was. According to you, you had lots of orders and you made $300 and people would come to your house and pick up the food. Is that what the idea was?
Yes, I was delivering actually.
Okay. You made about a defendant posted on her Facebook page what you consider a defamatory statement.
Yes.
About what you were doing, making and selling food for profit out of your home. And you want to tell me what she said about you, because that's the basis of your lawsuit.
Right.
What did she say?
Would you like me to read the whole post or just the part that the whole thing?
Yeah, is it very long? This is only a half-hour program.
Okay, I'll just read you this part. So she said, someone has a very serious health issue that can kill with 1 drop of blood, so please beware and don't purchase from her. And she posted pictures of my comment and my post that I made selling the food along with that statement.
Okay, put it up so I can read the whole thing now. Now put it up on evidence. Can I see the replies?
I don't think I have the replies for that post.
Just a second. Well, would you tell me where she mentions your name?
My name is right here and right here. She posted pictures of my picture with my name right next to it with the stuff that I posted along with what she said.
Yeah, I think you could probably... What you posted, Miss Platt? Miss Platt?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did write this.
So you... No, I saw that you wrote it. I'm asking you, you posted, it says under replies, you posted...
Yes, I did post, but underneath the replies, this is from Madeira to Go. Those where you see it says replies, that is from the Madeira to Go group page that we had. That's not the replies from the Madeira online garage sale. There was no replies coming from me. It was just other people replying that she was a hater, that she's a hypocrite for trying to call OSHA or whatever.
I'm just saying, I don't know who posted that.
If I may, ma'am?
No.
Okay.
I'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
I'm looking at her statement.
Mm-hmm. If I can clear up where it says replies, Your Honor, that's a screenshot of what I had posted originally saying I would call OSHA on people.
I understand. I understand that.
So she put my comment that I had made about calling OSHA on people along with my post of selling food with the statement that she said all in one post. She added the screenshots as pictures.
Correct.
Did you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I just want to make certain that there's a tie-in. Okay. So the only problem that she has a very serious health issue that can kill with a drop of blood, so please beware and don't purchase from her. Y'all be safe. So the someone that she's talking about, even though she posted your picture, you want me to tie the two in together, the someone, even though she doesn't mention your name.
Yeah, well, it's kind of goes hand in hand. If you put my picture and saying this, and saying what she said, the person reading it would believe that she's talking about me.
I could do that. Now, let's get back to you. Do you have a food license to be able to cook and sell to the public?
No, I don't.
Do you have a cottage license, which allows you to cook certain things in your house, that your house has been inspected?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
No.
So that you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house during COVID.
Yes.
And you knew you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house with COVID. I want you to understand that I'm not buying the sick brother story.
I actually have proof that my brother, he was put in an institution because he has schizophrenia and substance abuse. I wouldn't lie about that, Your Honor.
Just a second. I'm not questioning whether your brother is sick. I'm questioning whether you paid for it from the food you were making.
Well, he was put on. I couldn't even put him in a drug treatment program because everything I was doing was stopped.
Let me tell you that you didn't use this $300 for your brother. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't believe that. And you're saying to me, well, that's true, but I would have if I could have, if they let me. But instead, I used the $300 for myself. What you were doing is for profit.
I did not use it for myself.
For profit selling food out of your house without a license during COVID.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't like people who come to court and skirt around the truth, have a difficult time addressing and greeting the truth. That's a very hard thing for me.
Colleen Fuller says Moshe Platt slandered her on Facebook, causing her to lose income. Moshe is countersuing also for loss of income and harassment.
Now, who do you live with?
Myself.
Who do you work for?
I work for in-home support services.
So you see different people all the time?
No, I just have one client.
Or you stay with one. You have the same part of your work responsibility, just so that I know. How often are you COVID tested?
I get tested once every 2 weeks.
Okay, now I'm going to turn to you for a second. So I get the gist of it. What your countersuit is, which is ridiculous, which I'm not even entertaining, you say because she posted that post about in-room dining, I was forced to temporarily close my business, and people threaten me on social media. Whatever she said, if somebody threatened you, then they're an idiot, because she didn't name you, according to what she read to me.
Okay, so...
Unless you're telling me, just a second.
Okay.
Did she write anything specific about you on her Facebook page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to see what she specifically wrote about you.
Okay, so, because I know you have 30 minutes to do the show, I was sleeping and I woke up to a text message with a screenshot saying that, hey, are you okay, cousin? And I was like, yes. And I said, why?
Just, hey.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you to show me something, not speak.
Okay.
I said, show me what she said about you.
Right there, ma'am. It says Brianne Fuller, which I'm also assuming that it's her other account because I didn't speak to anyone else.
So why? I want you to show me her original post.
This is the...
I don't care about that.
That is the original post. She said she spoke to that black Moshe Robinson, and she called and said about...
I don't care.
Okay,
I don't
not
care
a problem.
about that. That's nonsense.
And then
That's
I have
nonsense.
text messages as well.
That's a nonsense.
I do have text messages if you want proof of that as well.
Shh. Just a second. I'm dismissing the part of your complaint that has to do with defamation. There's no defamation. It's just nasty speak.
Okay.
Now, the other part of your counterclaim, which I'm going to get rid of, is for harassment for $2,000. I want you to pick the worst text message she sent to you. The worst. Pick the worst text message she sent to you.
So this is the text messages.
Don't speak. Don't speak. Just put it up on the evidence board.
Okay, here is... She was using my uncle's stuff, so... Sorry. There's like a long list of them.
No, would you do me a favor? I said to you, pay attention. The worst text message she sent. Okay.
And I have another one. Would you like to see them?
Sure.
Okay.
Show me the other one.
And then
Show me the other one. That's not a
threat.
threat.
This one from my uncle's cell phone, which as well. Watch the turnout. And I said, is that a threat to me? And that one here. And then on social media,
Also
she
nothing.
said she was going to slap me. It's right there in...
Okay. Very good. Very good. Your counterclaim is dismissed. Now let's get back to what we're really talking about. You're going to explain to me, if you wrote, she has a disease that if people came in contact with even one drop of her blood, it could kill them. What did you write?
Just what it says there. It says someone. It says someone. It does not say her because I didn't want to put my family member on blast because they do live together. That is the reason why I said someone.
Are you telling me that the person, because in your answer says it's your uncle.
Yes.
Lives with her?
Yes.
Now?
Yes. When I had spoken to him on the phone, I said, do you know a Colleen Fuller? And she's carrying his last name, okay? So I said, do you know her? And his reply was, yes, I know her. I said, is that your wife? Is that your girlfriend? And he was like, well, we're not together anymore, but she does live here with me.
That's a lie.
That is very correct. I have no reason to lie.
Just a second. Your uncle says she's not my girlfriend anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Lie.
But she still lives here with me.
Speak for herself. Would you like to speak to her? I said, yes.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
You have your uncle's phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
Give it to me.
559.
And just tell me his first name. You want me to make this call?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're coming to court with unclean hands.
But I'm not talking about the part that she's saying that I'm selling food. I'm just talking about the disease part.
I don't care.
Nobody said you had a disease.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Colleen Fuller is accusing Moshe Platt of slandering her on Facebook, causing her to lose income.
Okay. Number's been disconnected. Let's try it again.
Your Honor, that's the correct number. 559. I said that's the correct number. 559 is his phone number.
Okay. So you know her uncle?
He's my employer. I've been working for him through in-home support for 8 years. But I've never dated this gentleman, ever.
Oh, now I got it.
If you could please make that call, he can clear everything up.
Just a second. Why didn't you just tell me that instead of saying my employer?
He's not her uncle. He even asked me paper form. That's what he told me.
My cousin is Ebony.
All right, just a second. I'm going to make this very simple for myself. Okay? Because I don't like people who come to court and skirt around the truth, have a difficult time addressing and greeting the truth. That's a very hard thing for me. But I don't even have to reach the point whether I think that she defamed you. You were operating out of your home an illegal food operation during a pandemic, exposing the public.
Your Honor,
you go to
the
grocery
part that
stores, you're out shopping.
The defamation part that I'm talking about is not...
Let's understand each other.
I understand you,
Let's
Your Honor.
understand each other.
I do.
Let's understand me. You're coming to court with unclean hands. Your unclean hands are you broke the law.
But I'm not talking about the part that she's saying that I'm selling food. I'm just talking about the disease part.
Nobody said you had a disease.
I don't care. What you are...
Yes, ma'am.
What you are asking the court is for help, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're asking the court for help. And you're coming to court having broken the law with relation to the same incident. And I'm not helping you because you don't have a love affair with the truth.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Judy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you had said to me, listen, I know, put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had said to me, I know her, this is how I know her. I work for a man for 8 years who she keeps calling her uncle. I don't think it's her uncle. And she used to be best friends. I had to pull it out of you. She used to be best friends with my sister.
Her sister.
Goodbye. We're done with you. You don't have a love affair with the truth.
Your Honor,
and you
but you're not letting me explain my case.
Hands.
If you would
Goodbye.
let me explain,
We're
please.
done. I heard enough. That's it.
What about my lost wages, ma'am?
I'm telling the truth, Your Honor.
What about my lost wages, ma'am? I lost business because of her.
If you could call my employer, he could tell you.
I dismissed your counterclaim. You weren't paying attention. You were too busy talking.
I had to pay back $4,000 for my customer.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I was in jail for the assault.
There was 2 assaults.
It was a bad idea to bring back her ex.
How did she cut her arm, Mr. Simple?
Daniel pushed me.
Judge Judy.
The comment that I had posted on Facebook, she took personally. It was
It
wasn't directed towards her because she doesn't have inside dining.
Someone is a fraud like her who could sit there and point the finger, but you're doing the most.
I just hope she doesn't defame anybody else and get sued again.
She got what she deserves.
He was told he was fired.
That work that he did was not proper at all.
Blood boils over a kitchen remodel.
Mr. Gonzalez did substantial work in your house. Okay, but me no buts.
Is the controversy all cooked up?
Did you have to rip out the old kitchen?
Yes, they demoed the kitchen, but carefully.
I'm not questioning that. I'm beginning to question their lawsuit.
This is Judge Judy. Daryl and Belinda Flournoy are suing carpenter and former neighbor Javier Gonzalez for the return of money they paid him to make custom kitchen cabinets.
Judges case number 155 on the calendar in the matter of Flournoy versus Gonzalez. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. and Mrs. Flournoy, you and Mr. Gonzalez knew each other. You were neighbors and friends for a while. And his business is in construction or
builds cabinets. He's a cabinet maker.
Great. And you wanted to redo your kitchen sometime last year. You reached out to Mr. Gonzalez. You entered into a contract with him, according to your complaint, for $12,000, $6,000 deposit. That was made in July. He was supposed to be finished in September.
Yes.
Great. And at some point, according to you, Mr. Gonzalez breached the contract by not coming back and completing the work. Yes. Mr. Gonzalez said in a conversation with your husband that he was told that he was fired. That's what he says. Mr. Gonzalez is counterclaiming for money, materials, labor, and installation of what he already did. So I have several questions. This happened back in September. He finally stopped coming back to work in September. And you've been living in the house since. So I assume you had the kitchen completed.
Yes, ma'am.
By whom?
Another contractor that was referred to us.
And what's the name of that contractor?
His name is Danny.
And when did he start working on the kitchen?
In October.
Because I am assuming that for the purpose of this, the kitchen was not completed by you, Mr. Gonzalez. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. All I needed to do was hang doors and put in the drawers and the pull-outs.
Whatever you had to do, it wasn't totally completed by you. Is that right? Flournoy have all the materials in their house.
They had cabinets were hung, countertops were put
Did you ever provide them with the doors?
No, the doors were still being fabricated.
Oh, just a second. So the answer is you never provided them with doors?
No.
Did you ever provide them with the drawers?
No.
What else didn't you provide them with?
That was all that was left. Was just the doors, shelves, and the pull-outs.
And the drawers.
And the drawers, yes.
Just a minute. Did all of this cabinetry have to be painted once hung?
It was painted prior to being hung. Stained.
Was that a final stain of what they selected, or did it have to be painted over?
No, it was a gray stain over alder, and it had a satin finish, clear coat, sanding sealer and clear coat.
That was what was there, what you put in?
Yes.
Ms. Flournoy, do you have a photograph of what the kitchen looked like just prior to the new contractor starting work?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
There's one picture.
Show me the whole kitchen.
This is another angle there. Here is the top angle.
Okay.
That might be the last one that I have.
I did, and that the one that's painted was probably going to be an open shelf?
Yeah, that was open shelf, but the interior is pre-finished birch, so it's got a lacquer finish on it.
Okay, my next question, did you have to rip out the old kitchen?
Yes, carefully we took them out. I had a demo guy take them out so that they can use them in another part of their home, yes.
Just a second. The $12,000 included demoing the kitchen, taking the shelves out, and did somebody else put them in someplace else in the house?
No.
Or did you?
No, we put them in the backyard. They were on the back porch. They wanted to reuse them in different parts of their home.
Okay. But you took them out?
Yes.
So you demolished the kitchen as well?
Yes, they demoed the kitchen, but carefully with minor damage.
I'm just asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not questioning that. I'm beginning to question their lawsuit, not you.
Okay.
Now, so it's clear to me that Mr. Gonzalez, Ms. Flournoy, did substantial work in your house. He demolished the kitchen, took out the old cabinets. He clearly constructed new cabinetry in the kitchen, some of which is clearly stained to a finish. Now I would like you to show me, just show me, a photograph of your currently finished kitchen after you had Mr. Finished kitchen. Great. He put in cabinet doors, he put in drawers, and he put in the end cabinet, which had been stained.
We
he
had
put
to have
in
them restained.
A light. That's your problem.
When Mr. came, he said, "Is this supposed to be the finished color?" We said no. He said it doesn't look finished. It would need to be repainted.
Very blotchy. It was very spotty.
Let me, just a second, let me explain something to you. A, you can't tell me what Danny said to you because that's hearsay.
Okay.
B, if you change the color, that's your problem.
We
I
didn't
want to
change
see
the
an
color,
itemized bill. Yeah, I didn't hear any complaint from you about color in any place in your complaint. Did you complain that the color was not the color that you wanted? I mean, he put these cabinets in at different time periods, not all the same day.
Yes, it was all the same day.
Ms. Flournoy, put up the itemized bill that you got from Danny.
My argument is that you're saying that Mr. Gonzalez put up the cabinets in different stages. There was one day, and he had a worker do that.
No, that's not my argument. I don't care whether that's true or not. I want to know how much he charged you. We proposed to furnish materials for $5,000. Completed the job for $5,500.
Yes.
Correct?
Okay, but there are several things
I'm just trying to wrap my head around your request for $5,000 back from the defendant.
Okay.
Danny finished the job for $5,500. You paid him $6,000 as a deposit to do the kitchen.
Yes.
Clearly, he did substantial work in the kitchen. Demolished, whatever the reason, whether he was fired or not fired or whether he just didn't come back. So far, you're paying $11,500 and you got a finished kitchen. The original price of the kitchen was $12,000.
Okay.
So if I give you, you're not paying attention. So if I give you $5,000 from him, you got a finished kitchen for $5,500, including demolition. You think that's reasonable?
I do, because Javier's quote included, the contract that we signed, it included for him to do the demo and complete the project, which he did not do. Also included for the backsplash to be replaced. It had to be replaced because of the length of the cabinets, the extension of it. That was included in Javier's quote. That was never done under...
Just asking you. Is that backsplash part of the $5,500 that you paid to Danny?
No, ma'am.
So you have an additional bill for the backsplash. Let me see it.
Okay. So this is the invoice for the labor that was done from the original contractor that had already installed our countertops, and Javier was working with him. And since Javier did not complete it, they could not find the backsplash because Javier had never ordered it, and therefore we ended up having to have...
Ms. Flournoy,
yes.
Did you have a backsplash put in?
This is the $500 for the labor to the gentleman, his company, that did so, and we purchased...
Just tell me how much the backsplash was. $500?
$500 for the labor to Johnny, who Mr. Gonzalez knows, and then we paid $300 for the tile for the backsplash.
You're still under $12,000.
Yes, ma'am. However, there's also the island that Mr. Gonzalez had made the end caps, which he brought and left at our home. He was supposed to install those on the end of the island to make that island look just like the cabinets. So I was not in there when he brought these, but this is a picture because on one of my messages to Mr. Gonzalez and in person, I expressed my concern for him having to lift up the island, the countertop, because it could possibly break. He says in his response to me that he didn't think that that was going to happen, but if it did, he would replace it. So when Javier brought these end caps, it didn't fit, and he just left them there. So the island was never completed. Mr. could not figure out...
Danny should have completed.
Well, he could not figure out
what... You have a completed kitchen. You're not getting a kitchen for $5,000. That's not happening.
And the cabinet work that he put up there is not worth $5,000. He bolted some shelves up there. They had large gaps that was not fitting properly at all. So the photo you're seeing there, that work that he did was not proper at all. I would not have settled that.
We tried to have other people come in and complete the work, and then we found Mr. Holquin. He was a recommendation to us from the countertop gentleman. We have that done, but there were still components, not to mention Mr. Gonzalez and me and my husband, we discussed penalties for each day that he did not complete the project timely. And he told us that his rate was $200, but we would not have to worry or literally had to buy a new microwave, electronic cook pots, things, because we could not use our kitchen at all.
And he did nothing to try to compensate us or even cared about how we was living.
That's what happens when you do construction. And I'm telling you right now, there's a certain fairness. And if I were to take from him $5,000, that means that all the work he did in your house,
which was not $6,000 worth of work.
Well, that's for me ultimately to say he did more than $1,000 worth of work in your house. And I'm not a contractor. All I know is you got a kitchen done. Don't interrupt me again.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
So let me understand this. He sliced your face open and you sought no medical care. Is that what you're telling me?
Closed captioning is provided by Daryl and Belinda Flournoy claim carpenter Javier Gonzalez left their kitchen remodel incomplete. Javier is countersuing for material and labor costs.
Now, he did more work for you than $1,000. And if I were to grant your petition and give you $5,000, building cabinets, staining cabinets, removing cabinets, all for $1,000, which I think, actually, you're being unreasonable about. So your case is dismissed, as is your counterclaim, sir. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you. This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
It started falling apart because he is unreliable, and all he wants to do is go around and populate the earth with children.
When they went wrong is when they drink. They get intoxicated, and then they want to try to handle business, and it's not good because she is crazy.
He kept committing to doing so, and he just never showed up, never did any of it.
We're talking just days that I was late. I made my promises and I stuck to them.
Very frustrating. He was a friend.
Yeah, most definitely I wanted to complete the job. Not for finances.
This time I had got fed up with it. I said, man, you tore my whole kitchen apart.
But for friendship. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
When she didn't want to deal with him anymore, and I still gave him another chance, and he left me high and dry.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Seno versus Rademacher step forward.
Amateo Shino is suing his former live-in girlfriend, Lisa Rademacher, for the return of a coin collection taken from his safe. Lisa is countersuing for medical bills as the result of an assault.
Mr. Seno, the dispute is about some coins. You and the defendant had an argument one evening that developed into a volatile argument, and according to you, you picked up something, a soap bottle, in anger, and you tossed it, and unfortunately it hit the defendant in the face. According to you left the house in order to cool off, and at some point later you came back, locks had been changed, and when you finally did get back into the house, you found that the little safe that you had where you kept these coins was open, and the safe was empty, coins were gone. The defendant says that she did in fact take your coins, but you told her that she could keep your coins because it was just before the rent was due, so she had to cover the rent, so you told her to keep the coins. She has a counterclaim for the assault, and what she says will be the necessity for plastic surgery on her face to get rid of whatever scar is there, which I'm sure that you'll show me, and you'll show me what the report is from your plastic surgeon. So why don't we start with you, Ms. Rademacher. This argument took place on what date?
It took place on August 30th.
And I'd like you to tell me about the assault portion of that argument.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What I'm going to say to you is going to stretch my muscles.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Amateo Shino says former live-in girlfriend Lisa Rademacher stole a coin collection from a safe inside his home. Lisa claims she used the coins to pay rent after Amateo assaulted her and fled the scene.
Go ahead.
Well, he was upset. He's very jealous. And so he got upset, and he called me stupid and picked up a soap bottle and just threw it right at me, and it hit me right in the face and sliced it open.
Show me where the cut was, from where to where?
From, like, right, I can't see, but, like, from right here to here. I have a picture of it.
I'd like to take a look at the picture. Okay. And what
That's
time
before,
of the, what
and this
kind
is
of
after.
the day, what kind of
getting
the...
healed.
Careful attention. What time of the day?
That's before, and the other one's after. It healed.
I mean, do you take medication? Do you take any medication?
No.
Good. And try to pay attention to what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
I ask the questions, you answer the questions.
Okay.
What time of the day or evening?
Around 10 a.m.
Had you both slept at home that evening?
Yes.
So the argument started when you both woke up?
It had actually started the night before.
Yeah.
We had gone out, and he gets jealous, like if other men look at me or things like that. So he was already like revved up from the night before. So in the morning, he just got out of control.
It continued. Okay. I'd like to see the medical report that you have.
Yeah, I don't have a medical report.
What do you mean you don't have a medical report? You say you need plastic surgery.
Yeah, just to remove the scar from, because I already have a plastic surgeon. And
well, how am I supposed to figure out how much that is?
Well, there's a lot of different factors, but if you get anesthesia, so I just did the lowest possible, like, estimate, which was like $3,200. So.
All right, Miss Radmaster, so let me understand this. He sliced your face open and you sought no medical care. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I don't have insurance, so.
You don't need insurance to go to an emergency room if somebody slices your face open. Do you have a police report?
Yeah, I do.
I'd like to see it.
I don't have it with me.
Well, where is it?
It's at home.
Why is it at home?
I was in a rush this morning.
Perfect. Okay. Where are his coins?
His coins are...
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't think about what you're going to say to me.
Okay.
Where are his coins?
They're spent.
Oh, they're spent. Well, if you spent his coins, then you get nothing on your counterclaim. How's that? How's that?
Well, that was for rent.
How's that? You spent his coins, you get $0 on your counterclaim. Whatever his coins were worth, that's what I was going to award you on your counterclaim. Because I don't actually buy either one of you. I think you're both either loaded or I don't know what. I have no idea what.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
So, this is the story, sir. You tell me that the coins are worth $5,000, probably worth a lot less than $5,000, because I don't think you actually have any proof of what you paid for them that I'm going to believe. That I'm going to believe. So, what I'm going to say to you is as follows, because it's going to make my life much easier, so I don't even have to stretch my muscles. It was for your coins. I'm awarding her $5,000 for throwing a bottle in her face. You each get nothing. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, a roommate moves out.
All of the bills were in my name, so she owes me for all of them. She had an altercation with the other roommate.
Absolutely not.
Let's get real.
Judge Judy.
Obviously, I have a scar. I suffered. I'm a girl.
I'm a little jealous at times.
Girls, if they get scars or anything on their face, it's very, it's traumatizing.
And out of anger, I did throw something at her. I had my part in this.
It was like a I don't have medical insurance, and it was a gash.
I mean, love's not a light switch for me. I can't turn it on and off that easily.
I just think that he needs like anger management, and he just has a anger problem.
I have feelings for her, but I'm really upset with some of her choices and how she lives her life.
I just can't. You can't put up with violence.
A landlord stacked up his renters.
$600 is what you charged.
6 beds in 1 room.
Complaints.
We have no fire escapes in our room. I was constantly cleaning. There are pictures of me here. Here's one of him illegally dumping.
Are you finished now?
Yeah.
If you move into a place where there are 6 bunk beds, it's not going to be a happy situation.
This is Judge Judy.
Renee Baca is suing her former landlord, Kenneth Crawford, for the return of rent, the balance of her security deposit, fraud, and pain and suffering.
Judges, case number 208 on the calendar in the matter of Baca versus Crawford. Parties have been sworn in. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Crawford, what kind of a residence do you have where you rent rooms?
I have a residence that houses rooms for usually international folks who come here to train for dancing. I'm a professional choreographer, and I lived in Japan, so that's where I began the business. I'm sorry.
Do you live in the house?
I do live in the house.
Is it a private house?
No, it's not a private house.
What is it?
Like a hostel, but mainly geared towards entertainers. I lived in Japan for some time, and I was out there struggling.
Just I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Listen to me. I don't care.
Okay.
Not that I don't care to hear your life story. That's not what this program is about.
Okay.
For that, you go on somebody else's program here. Nonsense, but she wants the return of her deposit. Tell me what this hostel looks like. Does it look like an apartment house? Does it look like a private house? Does it look like a condo? What does it look like?
I have pictures here, Your Honor, and it's a single-family dwelling.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, that's an answer. I'm going to get to an answer. It's a single-family dwelling.
Yes.
That has how many bedrooms?
It has 4 bedrooms. 1 is my private, and 3 are for other tenants. 1 has 6 bedrooms, 1 has 5, and 1 has 2.
Okay. Doesn't have 6 bedrooms. 1 has 6 beds.
6 beds, sorry, yes. 6 beds in 1 room, 5 beds in another, and 2 in another.
Those 13 beds, if all occupied, are all occupied by unrelated people.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Now, is your private house zoned for that?
As far as I know, yes.
For you to have
I do pay
13,
taxes.
well, I know you pay taxes, but when you have 13 unrelated people that you rent part of a room for, there usually is a license that you require that requires certain inspections.
Okay.
Just answer the question. I assume you have no such license, nor was your dwelling ever inspected in each room.
Correct. It has not been.
So the plaintiff answered an ad for a bed for $600, which is what you charged for a bed, according to what I read, a bed in the bedroom that has bunk beds in it, and was occupied by how many people when she occupied that room?
2.
Herself and 1 other, or herself and 2 others?
There were 2 other people there. When she came in, she would make 3.
Were there ever any more than 3 in that room?
Yes, there were 4.
While she was there?
Yes, 4.
So during the time she was there, your income from that room alone was $2,400 a month.
Correct.
Now, were there people occupying the bedroom that had 5 beds?
I don't think so. I don't recall. It's been really slow since COVID.
Was anybody occupying the room where there were 2 beds?
Yes, Mr. Inez.
1 person?
1 person.
And how much was that person's rent per month?
$750 per month.
So in total, you were receiving $3,150 in rent from those tenants in a operation.
Yes.
Not bad. Plaintiff lived there for 3 months, Miss Baca. So you...
4 months, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'm giving... Well, no, she moved in, according to her, on August 24th.
Right.
And she moved out on November 27th. So she lived there September, October, and November.
You are correct, ma'am. Sorry.
Did she pay rent for September, October, and November?
Yes.
And she gave you a security deposit of $110?
Yes.
Which you returned to her $30?
Incorrect. I returned $60, and I have the proof here and the cash.
Okay. Did he return $60, Miss Baca, or $30?
I believe it was $60 after I looked at the Cash App return.
Okay, so that you were mistaken here. So he kept only $50.
I believe so, yes.
Now, I'm going to give you, Miss Baca, less than 2 minutes to tell me why you lived there, you left, you didn't like it. I wouldn't have liked it either, living in bunk beds with 3 strangers that I didn't know. So I wouldn't have liked it. And you didn't have a written lease with him, I assume. Is that right?
I didn't have a lease.
So you can move whenever you want. You're suing him for $5,000, which is pain and suffering. And what I'm going to tell you is I have an egg timer on my hand. You're a grown-up woman. If you don't like where you're living, you move out. And if you move into a place where there are 6 bunk beds where you're going to share a room with 3 strangers, you should know that it's not going to be a happy situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your timer has started.
Okay, so I met him through an ad that he had, a false ad.
I don't care. Just a second. I don't care how you met him. You lived there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in a bind when you took the room.
Yes.
According to you.
Mm-hmm.
You were in a bind when you took the room. That's not his fault.
I was homeless.
And you lived there for 3 months.
Yes, Your
And you
Honor.
lived there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So far, he's going to have to explain to me why he kept $50 of your security deposit, not $5,000. This is not door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3, Miss Baca. This is not a huge payday for you. You lived in a place, so I'm sorry, I'm eating into your time. Tell me where $50 becomes $5,000.
Well, I got assaulted, Your Honor, by one of the roommates. The houses do have security throughout the entire house. I asked him for the surveillance tape. He denied me that, so I don't have evidence of physically getting assaulted. Within that time as well, we had no fire escapes in our really cleaning, and there are pictures of me here cleaning constantly. I got a sty in my eye due to the compound powder that was from the maintenance man that also lived in the house. And these are all the photos that I have. Here's one of him illegally dumping. I had to deal with harassment from the maintenance man, who also left his discharge papers for methamphetamines when my building manager had given him a job to paint and to fix an outlet, which was a simple task. He's also sending me harassment with texts and pictures that say, and as well, one of my computers was damaged by a roommate for having food and beverages in the bedrooms that we were not supposed to have. So Kenneth told me that I had a safe place to move into. I saw this place. I thought it was fantastic. He told me I could do my artwork. He even gave me a separate space in the laundry room because of all the maintenance work that had been done. My friend here, who's a witness, had used this room with one of the roommates I moved in, who was a photographer. She does a little bit of modeling. He took some pictures of her. A paper was left in the studio, and he didn't give me warning not to use it. So considering I had moved in for the creativity of what the house offered, that was then denied to me because of a piece of paper being left in the room. Mind you, I did bring 3 people of my own that have been giving him rent to stay there in the house as well. They asked for a safe place to live, and I recommended him, and we were all there.
Are you finished now?
Yeah.
Good, great. Now you're going to tell me why you kept her $50.
For infractions for not cleaning her dishes. They're all written here in the email. There are infractions in the house.
No. Are you telling me that you punished her by keeping her $50?
Oh, not just for that. I'm sorry.
Because she broke your house rules. That's the first thing you said to me, which would be the most important thing. So the most important thing is she broke the house rules.
She broke the house rules.
Is that right?
Correct, ma'am.
What else? Anything else?
Besides breaking multiple house rules, no. They was all a combination of that. Clogging the toilet. Her friend, I didn't see the friend. Not returning the key, giving away property at her checkout. I have it all in the email. She did eventually. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going on. I'm sorry.
You're going on, and don't go on with nonsense.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the reason that you kept her security deposit because she didn't follow the...
Yes, correct.
Good. Then your counterclaim for $3,000 is dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you talk about other kind of damages, which is all nonsense.
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $50. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Kenneth is a fraud. Sleepy Downstairs is a fraud. The roommates there are frauds.
I'm happy with the judgment. $50 is $50.
He has favorites. And obviously I came here to get justice, and I'm just thankful that Judge Judy knows what she's doing.
Oh, I think Judge Judy is exactly what I expected. I thought she was great, candid, to the point.
I think that he's petty, and anybody else that would see this case would understand what I'm saying.
I provide a service that allows people who are entertainers, who are struggling, who are going through transitions in their life.
He has lock boxes on air conditioning, so you can't even use that.
Now, there's a lock on the air conditioning because she had an argument over 3 degrees with the roommate.
I've moved on to better places.
If you're 38 years old and you need to share a room with 6 other people, more than likely there's something going on in your life, and it's not for me to judge. I've been there.
All parties in the matter of Don versus Moore. Step to the podium, please.
Brian Don is suing fellow motorist Francis Moore for ramming his vehicle when he pulled out of his spot in a grocery store.
And the defendant were in a Trader Joe's parking lot. This automobile accident happened on the 31st of October of this year.
Correct.
And according to what I read in the papers, I'm not quite following the events from what you and the defendant both describe in both your complaint and answer. The long and short of it is you each claim that the other is responsible for an automobile accident, and you were both parked.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He initially hit my back door, and as he was turning right, his car slid further, and that scratch or the damage extended to my front door.
I'm not actually sure. I think you were probably both being a little too stupid.
Brian Don claims fellow motorist Francis Moore was at fault for an accident in a grocery store parking lot. Francis is countersuing for his insurance deductible.
Okay. Do either of you have a photograph of where you were parked or a diagram of where you were parked?
I do. I have a diagram sketch.
Okay. Do you have a photograph?
Yes, I do. I put it on
I'd like to see a photograph.
It's right here.
Okay. Would you, Mr. Moore, one of you was a divider so that nobody could park right next to that car, and that would be is that a white Lexus?
Yes. Yes, that's mine.
Whose car is that?
That's mine.
That's your car?
Mr. Moore's, right.
Okay. And the car next to that car is your car. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And you were both backed into your spots?
Yes. Correct.
Or had you pulled... Did you back into your spot?
Correct. I backed into my spot.
Did you back into your spot?
I don't remember. I could have pulled forward or I could have backed in. Forgive me.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Because sometimes if there's no car in front of you, you can just pull in
and
to
that's,
the space
that's what I try to
so
do.
that you can pull out to it.
You don't have to back out.
Okay. Got it. So why don't you start, sir? You and your girlfriend, according to you, were leaving Trader Joe's. And you, sir, were leaving the parking lot where Trader Joe's is. And you were also leaving.
Correct.
Correct?
We came out simultaneously almost.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened, sir?
So we had both of our vehicles backed into the spot.
little car?
Yep. I had the silver vehicle. I was pulling forward. And as I was pulling forward, the defendant's vehicle pulled forward as well and struck me on the right side of the vehicle. The photos will clearly show that I was fully in the aisle at the time, so I had the right of way, and he should have yielded to me because he had struck me on the passenger side rear door, and because he was also turning right, that scrape extended to the passenger side front door as well. And I have photos of the damage to my vehicle to show that.
I'd like to see your photographs.
So there's a close-up shot of the damage. As you can see, the initial impact was against the passenger side rear door, and a scrape extended into
passenger side front door.
Rear door. The first impact was against the passenger side rear door, and then extended to the front door.
Where is the damage to the defendant's car?
The left front bumper.
May I see it? Do you have a picture of his damage?
Yep.
May I see it, please? Okay. you had full coverage on your car, so your counterclaim is for the deductible that you had to pay, the $500 deductible. You want to tell me your version of how this accident happened, sir?
He
has damage to the side of his car.
Correct.
And you have damage to the front of your car. His car didn't slide into yours. Had an accident. Did you have insurance?
I had insurance. I removed collision coverage because of the age of the car, and I had a buyer who was going to purchase the car as well, but turned it down after the damage.
Okay, well, that's too bad. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Brian Don claims fellow motorist Francis Moore was at fault for an accident in a grocery store parking lot. Francis is countersuing for his insurance deductible.
Okay, go ahead.
His car, when we pulled out, he pulled forward and turned right in front of me. You said it properly, Judge, when you said that. You kind of looked at it, and it didn't make sense the way he said it, even to our insurance people, that it didn't make sense that, first of all, I hit his front door. He was in front of me at an angle, about a 30-degree angle or so. So he pulled forward and pulled in front of me and hit me, and you can see that he was here.
Well, but what I don't understand, actually, Mr. Don, is how, maybe I'm not processing it, how he would have hit your rear passenger door and then gone into the front door. That is what I'm...
So I was turning right when I was exiting my parking spot. So I was in the aisle at the time when he pulled forward, and he was also turning right. So when I was fully in the aisle, he pulled out, turned right, and he initially hit my rear door.
You mean he pulled... What you want me to believe is that, Mr. Moore, you were already in front of him.
Yes, I was.
If what you're saying is that he hit your rear first and then continued to the front, you had to be totally in front of him. And he's not backing up, so he's looking straight ahead.
Correct. I was in front of him.
He's looking straight ahead. I don't buy it, Mr. Don. Sorry, not buying it. Okay.
I have a witness here who can corroborate my statement as well.
Well, you have a witness. Is that your girlfriend who was in the car with you?
Yes.
If I brought her up, would she tell me the same thing that you told me?
She will verify my statements, yes. But that's how it happened. I don't know how I could have hit his car from my angle, right? Someone teach me how I could have hit his car from my angle. Unless
I don't know, but I don't understand. I don't understand, Mr. Don, how he could start out at the back of your car and then the damage started at the back passenger door and then continued to the front passenger door.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, he was turning right as I was in front of him. So he initially hit my back door, and as he was turning right, his car slid further, and that scratch or the damage extended to my front door.
Fine. Fix your own car. Sir, fix your own deductible. You had your car fixed?
Yes.
You had your car fixed?
Yes.
Good. You had the bumper fixed?
Everything.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I think you were probably both being a little too stupid. And I'm not getting involved with it. If you didn't have collision on your car, that's your problem. You had an accident. Did you have insurance?
I had insurance. I removed collision coverage because of the age of the car, and I had a buyer who was going to purchase the car as well, but turned it down after the damage.
Okay, well, that's too bad. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We're done here. Thank you very much. You still driving the car?
Yes, I am.
Good. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
You cooked your goose 10 minutes ago.
I don't eat goose.
You're an idiot. I don't know who's going to give you a job as an emergency service person. I wouldn't.
Next Judge Judy.